every time we get an opportunity to get on that stage, every time I get a chance to write something new, whatever it may be, anytime I get to like dip into that creative side, it just validates it more and more. Whatever it was. But the passion for music and wanting to branch out and find new shit to enjoy was always there.
Hello, my fellow Martians. My name is Harry Mars, and this is the On Mars Pod, where we take a deep dive into creative professionals, entrepreneurs, and other inspiring Martians alike.
I knew right away, it's like whatever I end up doing in life, I want it to be creative, but at that time, it was just, I want to be an artist. It's gotten to the point where it's like you have to prioritize one or two over the other ones that you really want to do because like that's what it takes to survive. You know what you have to do, you know what's being asked of you, just go do it. If you're overthinking it, you're gonna manifest the thing you're scared of.
Hello, my fellow Martians. Today on Mars, we are joined by an artist, songwriter, and performer. Everybody, please welcome Shy Harper, also known as Shaheem. Thank you for being here today, brother.
Glad to be here, dog. Glad to be here.
Of course.
Thank you for having me. Nice place, welcome. Nice setup.
Thank you so much.
Like the vibes in here, man. It's dope.
Means a lot, bro, for real. So we don't know each other. It's the first time we're ever meeting, which is so sick.
Hell yeah, man.
I've only had that with a few people. One of the homies that you know, Wyatt Berry.
Uh-huh.
I actually met him on the pod as well. So it's like same
nice.
Situation, like met him right when he pulled up.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't know, Shy is the lead singer of Prime Society. It's an R&B group / band out here in Phoenix, touring band. So they've been making some waves for quite a few years now. So I'm excited to get into this, man.
Oh yeah, it's been years in the making for sure. Because like Prime Society as a group, as like a thing, a collective, it's older than like just me being a part of it.
Yeah,
it was definitely a group and all that. They had taken root and made their own way with what they had done before I even met them. So It really just like, when I look at it from that perspective, it really puts it into like this crazy kind of timeline because we've spent years together. But on top of that, they've also been doing their thing for years too. So
right. And then you as well. Like you had your own journey before you met up with them. So it's kind of like, it's cool that you guys were able to live your own musical journeys and then come together and now live it together. Mm-hmm. I think that's super sick. And I mean, realistically, this was your dreams all along, like all of you guys. So to be able to kind of live your dreams with your bros, that's like American dream, bro.
even if you didn't know it was your dream right away, like a lot of the time it feels like, without a doubt, 100% is what I was destined to be doing.
Yeah,
for sure. Because like there were little signs here and there. You know, you get like, I would get instruments for Christmas gifts here and there.
Yeah,
I would want to like write poetry, like poems in class were always more interesting than the other stuff.
Fair enough.
Grew up in church, of course, so I was in kids choir, all that. Yeah, and that was when it really started to be like, oh, okay. Well, I can sing in front of people. It doesn't sound too bad. So,
I mean, that's a huge thing. And just kind of some background on Mars, we take a deep dive into creative professionals, entrepreneurs, and other inspiring Martians alike. That's why I had to have you on, man, because it's something obviously like what we've already said. Like you've been living this life for a long time, so since you were a kid. So I do like to start with background though, so we can kind of start there. Like with Phoenix, you grew up in Arizona, is that right?
Oh yeah.
So was it Phoenix though, or was it somewhere else in Arizona?
Kind of moved around all over the place. It was mostly like Phoenix area. So really, lived here my entire life. Aside from like traveling on vacation here and there, Arizona's always been home. So that's really what I know. I lived in Tempe for a little bit. That was how I ended up meeting the band. Went to ASU for college. Lived in Tolleson for a bit for high school. But other than that, I was really kind of in that like Upper West Side area of just like not quite Surprise,
right?
But it's like
West Phoenix.
Yeah, West Phoenix. So.
Okay, cool. So then you talk about growing up in the church, and that was a really big influence for you. So it's your whole family was going, or was it like you had to?
Oh yeah,
okay,
no, it was the whole family. No, granted, there's times when like moms or whoever has to work on Sunday or whatever.
Yeah,
but
right.
Best believe grandma would make sure that you was fully dressed down, ready to go in the morning, bro. Absolutely,
she's not missing it.
Yeah, no, she's not missing it. We going with her. So I'm there before service, during service, hours after service, watching everybody
you were
get
in the
there.
choir,
yeah. So that was the norm for my childhood. Absolutely, 100%. Like, and if we weren't at church, best believe we was listening to gospel music in the car.
Right.
We got the church service on TV.
Yeah.
so you're gonna get something. You're gonna get the word one way or another. Hell so yeah. I was always pretty like attached at the hip to that life. So
yeah, so you were listening to gospel music around the car and the house, and when you guys weren't in church. So that was what you were surrounded by as far as like your musical influences as well.
oh yeah, like Kirk Franklin's a big one.
Oh, huge,
BBC Winans, like that kind of thing. So whenever I'm in the car, my grandma listening to gospel music. If it's not that, I'm in the passenger seat or the back seat of my mom's car, and she's like huge into R&B. So you're getting like Jagged Edge, Jodeci, that kind of thing. So it's like for the most part, hip hop and R&B was like my thing, but you have like those real like soulful like influences that come from gospel music and things like that too. So that kind of like built the foundation. And then of course, like I'm the oldest of 5.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So we would always like, if we're not out and about playing sports or doing whatever it is that we're doing, playing video games.
Yeah.
So video games is also like, I gotta credit that in like my musical upbringing and my influence for sure, because it like kicked the door open to entirely new genres of music for me. Like I'm playing SmackDown versus Raw.
Oh yeah.
07.
Oh yeah, dude.
That like those games were undefeated, but like the soundtracks are pretty much like all rock metal type shit.
100%.
So that was when I first heard some of those guys, and I'm like, oh, I'm fucking with this. Like I'm
For
sitting
sure.
here playing the game with my brothers, but I'm like, okay, this goes hard. So that introduced it a little bit, and then of course you have shit like Guitar Hero.
Yep.
Guitar Hero 3 is one of my favorite games. I've still like,
Absolutely.
me and my roommates, like we fucking blow the dust off the Wii and play that shit still whenever we get bored.
Yeah.
So
just comes right back.
even more so, yeah.
Yeah.
So then like, bonded over like shit like that with the guys, like Cliffs of Dover, the metal, like Tenacious D,
Eric
like
Johnson.
those kind of, yeah. So like even like the goofier songs on those types of games, but just like, it really built that appreciation for music. And then, it took a matter of me like for years begging for an MP3 player. I had to like pirate songs on that shit, find new songs that way, whatever it was. But the passion for music and wanting to branch out and find new shit to enjoy was always there.
Yeah, man. And it sounds like you were, kind of shown gospel music and R&B by your parents and stuff like that. But on your own tip as a kid, you were exploring different genres. You were learning about different types of real music, realistically, because it's like, those rock and metal and all those groups, they're using real instruments. So it's kind of like training your brain to hear these instruments and like not even know the names of the songs, just be like, dang, I like that. And then years later just be like, oh man, I remember that song from SmackDown versus Raw.
And like I've found songs like that just off of like the rhythms, like, oh, I remember that. Sounds like this. It's such a cool feeling. It's amazing.
Man. And then all those groups that you're saying too, it kind of like makes sense that you ended up being where you are today too. It's just like it's like all the parallels line up 100%, dude.
Absolutely.
So then that was another thing that I kind of had like the cultural influences around. So like movies, TVs, video game, all that stuff. So it's like you grew up as a 90s kid, right? Because you're 26, is that right? Or
I'm 25. I'll be 26 in December.
Okay.
I like to claim being a 90s kid because I'm definitely not an early 2000s kid, but like I was born in 1998.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like, man. So yeah, for the part of the 90s I was here, I wasn't even like fully like cognizant. I'm 2 years old. So yeah, I was born in the 90s, but I like just snuck in right there. So like really most of the stuff, like I got like some of that back end here and there, and like things that like my parents would still show me. So I'm still familiar with like all that, things like that, like the 90s era of Nickelodeon that kind of trickled down. Yeah. But yeah, for the most part, I consider myself a 90s baby. I still got like to imagine I have like that mature old soul type feel.
For sure, man. So. And I think it depends on the person too, because there's some people that were like born in 98 that like have the 2000s mindset, and there's people that are born in 98 that have the 90s mindset. So I definitely feel you on that.
Yeah.
Where there's like, like those last few years are kind of dividing. It's like if you're born in like 2001, 2002, you're definitely 2000s kid. But it's just like some of those kids that are born in the late 90s, because I was born in 94, and I definitely still like claim 90s stuff, because even early 2000s culture was kind of 90s.
It was just feeding off of that. Yeah. All the cool shit we got from the 90s.
It was just like the leftovers from the 90s was still happening in 2000s. But the whole culture was so different back then because of the fact that we didn't have the internet until like early 2004 or 5. That was like booming. I mean, I think it was like 2002 or 3 when it really came out, but it wasn't like a consumer level until mid 2000s. So when we were growing up, it's like we had TV and movies and radio and all that stuff. Like physical media was still a real big thing. So I'm sure you were influenced by all of that growing up.
100%, bro. 100%. And like, that is the cool thing that I consider the blessing of being like right on that bubble. Yeah. It's like we still got to experience both worlds.
Absolutely.
Like, fortunately, I still grew up in a time where it was safe to go outside.
Right.
That's fucking crazy.
Crazy to say out loud. Yeah.
But no,
man,
like,
so true.
like
though.
I could genuinely like do my homework and then be outside from like 5 to 8 whenever that street light came on, and like my mom wouldn't be stressed about, oh, like what's gonna happen was this, that, or the other thing. But now there's just so much shit. And like fortunately the technology wasn't as good. So like we weren't as glued to it. Like you get bored with that shit for a little bit, and you got to go give it that balance, give it that time, like hang out outside. I got a few scrapes and bruises, to show for it, as well as like just getting into the cusp of like when we got computers and the internet and watched it evolve. So in some ways I feel like we were like the last of like the sane people.
For sure. Yeah, for sure, dude. I 100%
like,
agree. Yeah.
It's going to be like, it's going to make this weird like disconnect between people, because like they're literally growing up differently, shit's clicking differently, they're having totally different experiences. Not totally different, like granted there's still like the trials and tribulations that every high schooler or whatever will go through, but it's the way that they're getting handled and like the fallout of all of it, and like all the little like, it's way different.
100%, dude. And I think there's so many layers to it too, because like kids are not only technologically advanced, they were given these things like iPads since they were born, or like or playing video games and just glued to them and only playing video games, never going outside. I think there is that balance that they're kind of missing out on sometimes, depending on the parent too. That's another big thing. It's like, because parents can have a big influence on like whether or not they have access to those things.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a big part of that balance that I was talking about, because I'm sure if I could just sit on the PlayStation all day when I was like 12 or 13, like you wouldn't stop me. I wouldn't even freaking eat. But like when your mom comes in that room and says, hey man, like,
for sure. Yeah,
like,
there would be no way that like some of the stuff that these kids get away with now, like we could have got away with back in the day. No way, not.
Dude. Like even the little things, bro. Like you couldn't even just like, not saying I condone it, but you couldn't like have a fight at school anymore. Like
for sure.
If you even throw 2 punches, it's everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Like everyone's recording.
Yeah,
you get knocked out, you getting roasted for the month. It's over.
Yeah, these kids are growing up different, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's like everyone has a fucking computer in their pocket too at 7 years old, which is crazy to me. It's just like
it was driving me crazy for a little bit. And like even my bass player Jay, shout out to Jay. He tells me this all the time. It's like, dude, you gotta get off Twitter, man. It's like that shit's not good for you. Like it's driving you insane. Because it's like it's just straight up doom scrolling and all that. And when I finally find like a safe little pocket of something interesting to talk about online, it's like some like anime avi or whatever, some random person is just like comes through with the dumbest take I've ever heard in my fucking life. And then like, I got to go look at the account. I'm like, dude, you're 12. Like, what am I like? Why am I going crazy arguing with this fucking 12-year-old online, bro? It's like these groups shouldn't be mixing like that. So it's making a lot of shit weird. But
yeah, man,
it makes it it's interesting to see like how it gets navigated. Get into like the mid 20s stage, getting over that like that hump, finally turning 25, like put it into like an interesting perspective. A lot of stuff starts to make sense, and it just comes with that experience.
Yeah,
so
for sure, man. Yeah, I like you said, I'm glad that we were able to kind of experience both sides, just because I think it definitely influenced how I view technology and also how I view like other like things outside, like real life.
Yeah,
this is like
it changes the whole lens that you look at it with, and like if you can look at it more from like the human perspective that we were able to like cultivate when we were younger, instead of just only knowing that, it makes colder people.
It does.
It really does. Like people are okay with saying like the craziest shit for a laugh.
The keyboard warriors is what they call them, trolls, like the classic. I mean, that shit never would have existed if like computers never came out, which I don't think that would have ever happened. Like I think computers definitely would have come out eventually, but it's just like
it was inevitable.
Man, I'm so glad that we were able to experience life before that, man. It's just like I couldn't imagine now being like growing up just with technology and like not having the experiences of skating outside and like playing football with the neighborhood kids and like riding the bike around the neighborhood. This is something I talked with a couple people where it's like the staple of the 90s was like riding around the neighborhood on your bike and then seeing all the bikes in front of somebody else's house, and it's like, oh, let me pull up. Everyone's
Hell
here.
Yeah.
It's just
now
like,
you can't do that because another group of kids is gonna come by and steal your fucking bike.
Exactly. Bro, 100%. And it's, dude, wow. That's so true, man.
Like you couldn't even enjoy 5 minutes in the house because you were so paranoid about the bike.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. Yeah, it's so wild, man. But
and, like every day I find like a new like phrase or saying that I heard an adult say as a kid where I'm like, hey, they're fucking crazy. Like what are you talking about? Like shit like that. Like it builds character. Like it
100%.
builds character. And then I say that, I'm like, that sounds like the corniest, like old head shit you could say. It's like, you got to get outside more, go touch some grass. It builds character. But it's like,
They're kind of right.
it really does. Like if you try to talk to me in real life, like you talk to a stranger over that mic on Call of Duty, bro, it's probably not going to go the same way for you.
Yeah,
so it's like,
exactly.
it literally like it builds the type of person that you are. So it pays to have those interactions and go through those trials and tribulations. It's not always comfortable.
Right.
I still fucking hate interacting with certain people here and there. Like there's situations that make you uncomfortable, but like the more you do them and the more familiar you are with that, like you get through it a lot smoother. And you can dodge the ones that you don't need. You start to pick and choose, you know?
That's such a great point. I mean, it's almost like there's a big wave that kind of came of anxiety and depression with a lot of these young kids and like being on all these SSRIs and all this stuff. And I think it directly correlated with the fact that they're kind of like sheltering themselves a lot. Like a lot of kids are becoming introverted because they're just like doing their own thing and they don't really care to like go hang out and be social.
I don't need to get out there.
Yeah, it's just like I got everything I want right here. It's like I have my TV, I have my iPad, I have my snacks, I have, you know what I mean? It's like I
can live off this.
Yeah, it's like as a kid they don't really, if they're not like experiencing that and they're not being shown that, and if the parents are like, oh, like you'll shut up for 4 hours if I just give you this tablet? Perfect. Sounds good. All right, I'll tell you when dinner's done, you know what I mean? Or whatever. And it's just like, then iPad's time is done and then I'll give it right back to you after dinner or whatever. And it's like, so the kids
keep the shit at the table, bro.
Right. Yeah, right. Headphones in while everyone's eating. Dude, crazy. Like that shit really happens. But I really do feel like that is fueling like the youth of America becoming way too introverted. And it's like almost being like socially awkward and not being able to like make friends and blaming their anxiety and depression on that or for that. And it's just like there's so many layers to that shit. And it's like it all stems back to like how you were raised and how you were like experiencing things. And I really do feel like social interactions as a kid is so important to like who I became. So
I've dodged so many bullets and I'm just grateful for that. Like the way that I'm able to just like conceptualize shit and just carry through my day to day.
Yeah, man.
I'm so grateful for that because I see a lot of ways how it could have very much not been that way. And I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, man, for sure, dude.
Yeah.
So getting into more cultural influences, I want to talk about like arts in high school and in regular school, like middle school, high school, your influences. You were into art and illustration, right? Like
100%.
Because that was kind of your bag for real on top of the music stuff.
So I was a visual artist. I claimed that before I even started sniffing music like that.
Really?
Yeah, way before.
Okay.
Way before. Like my first dream job was a comic book artist.
Wow. At what age do you think?
Dude, like 5.
Wow. Damn.
Like 5 years old, 5 to 7 years old, something like that. I remember because like one of the first movie I ever went to go see in theaters was Spider-Man.
Ooh,
the Tobey Maguire one, that first one.
Right.
And I was like,
yeah, totally. Yeah.
Life-changing.
Yeah.
Life-changing.
One of the
so
best.
it was like, on top of already watching like those little animated series here and there, but like as a kid, it was a blur. It didn't really connect until I saw it on the big screen like that.
Yeah.
So then after that, I was blown away. Like I was just, did the whole deep dive into Marvel, DC, all of that stuff. And then like when I find the books, I'm like, oh, somebody's drawing this.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's making these. Somebody's getting paid to do this. I bought the book. I want to do that. So like I would make like these little like, I'd just fold up like the notebook paper type shit.
Yeah.
Make my own. I'd read whatever comics I could, watch any animated series. And on top of the fact that my grandmother, like lived with my grandmother for most of my childhood. Like we all just lived in the same house type shit, you know?
Yeah.
So she was an amazing artist.
Really?
Amazing, phenomenal. Like painting portraits, like drawing anything, you name it. So like, of course, being around the house and spending so much time with her, whenever there was downtime, I'll watch cartoons here or there, but like 2 rooms over, she's in the art studio drawing. Doing a portrait or whatever. And that was more interesting to watch than the cartoons or whatever the hell else I had to offer sometimes. So I was like, I wanted to do that more than anything. So like I straight up said like, hey, I want to draw. I want to do that. And then it started from there. I got a canvas, got a paper, pad, whatever. She taught me little bits here and there. And then it just kept on rolling. I wanted to get better at it. Boom, hang that shit up on the fridge. That goes hard.
Yeah.
Hang that up on the fridge. Boom, hell yeah. And then like, I wanted to do that. I knew right away, it's like whatever I end up doing in life, I want it to be creative. But at that time, it was just, I want to be an artist.
Right.
I want to be an artist. I want to draw for a living.
Wow.
That's what I want to do. So it kind of just, it carried on into that. And then by default, I got an hour and a half every day to do it at school because I always got put in into an art class.
Yeah. And
then from there, like, I just took to it, you know, on top of like a small part of it was like natural, like gifts, God-given talent, extremely blessed for that. But another part of it was like buckling down and learning all of that, getting taught that by my grandmother. So that's like a big influence. She really kickstarted the whole creative movement in my life straight up.
Yeah. And so, I was going to say that because I mean, the fact that she was bringing you to the church choir and then also showing you how to draw, that's like, that created who you are. It's so beautiful, dude. I mean, the fact that she was so supportive and also not only like supportive, but like showing you how to do this shit. Like, I mean, that's because I'm sure she was singing her heart out in choir too and was probably a phenomenal singer.
100%. She let me fail with a lot of it too. Like it's one of the better teachers with that sometimes. Like, she was like, oh no, you got to do this a certain way. Like you got to like get the proportions right and do like the base layers, this and that. And I was like, nah, I want to just go straight into drawing the face. And she was like, all right, try it if you want to. Finally, I got tunnel vision on that one spot. Finally backed up from the canvas. It was the goofiest looking portrait I ever seen in my life. Bro. I was like, well.
And these little things that you wouldn't have learned unless you made that mistake. And I think that's another huge thing about like her not like suffocating your craft and like saying, no, Shy, you have to do it like this. It's just like, oh, you want to do it like that? Sure.
And I'm grateful. Go ahead. I'm so grateful for that too, because growing up into school, like back with the creative influence. Yeah. I honestly, a big part of me had like, I don't want to say hated. I feel like that's a very strong word because I love drawing. It was a great experience and I get we got to learn it a certain way, whatever. Yeah. But I spent most of the time like doing it like the self-taught way at home. I've got all these anatomy books. I've got all these books about technique. I've got this amazing artist that I live with. Right. So it was like a lot of the times in class, it would just go in one ear out the other because I had learned it 2 years before everybody else. Or just like
you were advanced.
Yeah. At least at the time, you know, like I'm not trying to be all, I'm the best artist in the room.
But you were doing it outside of school and these other kids weren't. There's point blank period. It's just like they liked to draw, but they didn't love to draw. Yeah. Like you loved it at the time.
Like it was eat, sleep, breathe drawing. Like whenever I'm done, and it didn't matter what class it was. Like if I'm done with the math paperwork, whatever, all right, I'm drawing on the back. Yeah. But I didn't like the art class because it was very limiting on like the creativity aspect of it. Like they're teaching you technique, this, that, or whatever, but they were always telling me what to draw. Yeah. Telling you like what the subject had to be. And I was like, well, I've got cool ideas that I want to work with. I got shit that I want to do. And you're going to fail me because I didn't do it how you would have done it. I'm like, that doesn't scream art to me.
Yeah. It's like, almost, just, it's like taking the art class and like slapping a left brain on it, you know?
Yeah. It's like, if I can prove I know what I'm doing as far as like what you're trying to teach people to make art, let me do it. Like, like it's just, it felt very backwards. A lot of the time, having to like sit there and get, and honestly, some of my art teachers were some bitches, bro. I'm not gonna hold you.
And that's like that's the biggest thing.
They're kind of mean.
Yeah,
I don't know why. Like,
that sucks.
I didn't like high school art teacher was great, but like the one before that made me question the game, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, what are we doing here? It's like, dude, is this what it evolves into? It's just start yelling at kids who want to draw?
Dude, it's almost like, it makes me think that like that teacher was just doing it for the paycheck, just like didn't really have a passion for it. Because there's some art teachers, because I had an art teacher back in high school. Like, I mean, high school probably is always better because like you're not teaching them like basic ass shit. Yeah. And it's almost like when you're in those younger grades, they probably give you like a curriculum. Like they need to learn this, 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 and this. If they don't, then you fail as a teacher kind of shit. So she's just like strangling all the creativity out of it. And it sucks that there's teachers like that, man, because some people will like not have the mindset that you have and just almost take her word as bond.
No, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like that, I would argue that was most of the class.
That sucks, dude.
For sure.
Because like, it stifles their creativity.
Yeah, and if they didn't have that external like, oh, art is kind of cool, let me look into this, it's just a class.
Yeah, it's just extra credit. Let
me get through this. This lady's, she's yapping, whatever the hell. Yeah. So like, it's not, it doesn't work for everyone.
Yeah, and they don't connect as much too when like there's no like passion involved. Like when you can bring your own ideas to the table and feel good about them yourself, like you do better in the class. It's like when you feel like the prompts are stifling your creativity, you're just naturally going to underperform because you don't feel like it's worth your time.
Yeah. So like why? Like I'm gonna phone it in if I don't think I can get anything out of this. And it just taught a lot of backwards things. Like granted, like couldn't read the future, but I like you know, sometimes people like to draw shit that already exists. Like they draw Dragon Ball Z characters, like Disney characters, whatever.
Huge.
And like one of the things that like they like hammered on us in high school was like, no fan art, none of this, none of that. Don't do that. Like it's not going to make you money. That's someone else's design. It's plagiarism, blah, blah. And I was like, I get what you're saying. But also like 2 years after I graduated high school, I see somebody who's got like a Patreon and a Gumroad account or whatever, and they're selling fan art of other people's things for like hundreds of dollars a piece. I'm like, well, if I had known I could have done that at 16, I would have fucking done it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was told that was a cardinal sin.
Exactly.
So I'm like,
that's not an option.
Yeah, it's like, and that's what I'm talking about. It's like, why would you get into this space that's supposed to be all about creative freedom and just like bottleneck it into like, no, we're just doing this.
Yeah, dude.
Like to approach something that's supposed to be quote unquote limitless with like a limit like that is kind of so backwards to me. And that was the one thing that always like turned me off from it from like the school standpoint.
Yeah.
It made me more excited to do it at home. Right. I was like, all right, I'm gonna listen to what she says here, but I'm gonna put some flavor on this canvas as soon as I get home.
Exactly.
So
damn. So then that was the first love, but then when did music really take hold as far as like your own creation, and were you playing instruments? And I mean, you said you were getting instruments for Christmas and stuff like that, but like, I mean, did that happen in tandem or when was that?
It wasn't in tandem. I wish it was now because it would be mad useful for me if I was just as passionate on the instrument side, but I was so like
into the art,
the art side where I was like, yeah, I'd play the drums here and there. I'd mess around with it for a little bit and then get bored, go back to drawing, get bored, go back to do this, or just be busy with this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
And on top of like having brothers, like grandma tried to do the whole Jackson 5 thing, get the band going.
Nice.
So like, yeah, it didn't like take initially, but like there was always that like that love for music, and then the choir thing kind of planted the seed.
Yeah.
So when like I started getting more like solo roles for like singing this song, or you get a special part on this song. Yeah. So when the church performs this, you get to do this part. So it's like that made it more of like okay, I can kind of take charge and do it like this way.
Right.
It made it seem like more of a thing that I could do. But it was always like whatever. It never really seemed like that was what I was supposed to be doing at the time.
Yeah.
But then just hanging out with friends, I would like shoot the shit, just like, bullshit and whatever. And it would just eventually come out that I can sing here or there. There's a lot of times I'm like home alone doing chores, whatever, and I'm singing along to stuff. And I'm like, that don't sound too bad. I guess I can kind of sing a little bit here or there. I'm like, all right. So like that kind of like pushed it forward a little bit. And then other friends found out I could sing as well. So it was kind of like oh yeah, Shy kind of does that sometimes. But then the senior talent show came along, and a bunch of my friends were like, you got to do this.
Fuck yeah.
You got to do it. You should do it. And I'm like, fuck it. Like, I'll try it. Like, this is my last year here. I'm gonna move on to do other things.
Fuck yeah.
Whatever. So I ended up doing that, and that was a lot of fun. I was nervous as hell about it. No, I didn't win. But I got second place. I lost to two black girls. Shout out to Wintana and Janez. Hope they're doing well. I'll never forget that. But they did some beautiful spoken word. They killed it.
Okay.
Like, it was definitely first place worthy. I just wanted to win though. But It was good. It was a lot of fun. I didn't bomb.
Yeah.
I'm a better singer now than I was back then for sure. And that was still like kind of like the like naive, young, shy phase when I hated to hear myself on camera.
Yeah.
So it's like I didn't really like listen back to it a bunch, but like in the moment, like you can tell if people are like vibing with it or not. So it went pretty well. I ended up doing a Sam Smith song, so it went solid.
Nice.
And that kind of just like, that was a good feeling. So it was like, okay, that seems like something I'd be cool with doing every now and then. But it still didn't like kickstart anything because I was just going to be like, okay, I'm going to go get my art degree now, do this and that.
Back to the art.
Yeah, back to the art. That was it. That was it. Because even while I was doing that, we had like talent show practices or whatever, I was still drawing every day.
Nice.
So that was still like on the forefront for me. It wasn't until my freshman year of college when I went to ASU. So I went to the main campus downtown, right? And that shit's like its own damn town.
Yeah.
Really. It's got a gym. It's got stores.
100%.
It's got grocery stores, all of that. Whatever you need is there.
Yeah.
You really just got to leave to go to class and come back. So I would always, after my day was done, go into my courses or whatever the hell, do my paperwork, suffer in the lab. I would go to the gym, and they have like all the I've always played. The amount of time I played would depend on the coach, but I always played.
Yeah. I was always on the team.
Oh yeah, I was on the team. I had a jersey cut. That's all you need to know. But eventually I ran into Jay there. Like I recognized him like, in passing.
Yes.
But we had a mutual friend, Tyler, that we would hoop with there. Shout out to Tyler Guest. Hey.
Very nice.
And he ended up, like, I was hanging out with him one time. He ended up sneaking a video of me singing, sent it to Jay because he needed a male vocalist for the song that they were getting ready.
So Jay was already doing his own thing.
Jay was already doing his own thing.
Yeah.
Prime was still, like, it's on and kicking. I don't even know it exists.
Right.
Never heard of it.
Okay.
So then, like, a couple of days go by, and then Jay comes up to me while we're, like, between games or whatever. He's like, hey, man, I know you don't really know me like that. I'm not trying to be weird, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I got this song, whatever. I heard you can sing. Want to do this, and like still every now and then I think about it, it's like, why did you say yeah? Like, what did you? Yeah. But like, no, he seemed like a genuine dude, seemed like a cool guy, and I was like, because like you can imagine how that would look from someone else's perspective. It's like, hey man, I make music, man. Like, you come down to the spot, man, come to the studio, like yeah, like I could have easily been like, this is fucking bullshit. I'm gonna go home and draw.
Yeah,
no, but
100%.
But no, I was like, yeah, sure, let's do that. Something just told me like,
you have to.
That's the move. Yeah. That's the move. That's the right thing to do. It just felt right.
Good.
So I ended up doing that. Went, met all the other guys, and we just hit it off. We just clicked from there. And then it got to a point in the session where, like, obviously, of course, we're going to be going to places and venues where we'll perform this song. You want to perform it with us? And I'm like, yeah, I've performed on stage before. I don't sound bad. I think I can sing. Let's do it. Fuck it. Kind of like step out of the shell a little bit. Just do it. Make that leap. Mm-hmm. And it was like at a good time too. You know, freshman year of college, that was like my goal anyway.
Exactly.
To like, you know, new leaf, start something new.
Right.
To pursue some new shit. See what it'll bring you. So I was kind of on my yes man shit anyway, subconsciously.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's do that. And it worked out. It's paid dividends. Then like, so pretty much with all of my independent life, it's been Prime Society. So yeah. And then I just started doing shows with them. Now those are my brothers. Like I see them all the time. Was just hanging out with them earlier today.
Dude, I mean, by the time that you were in the talent show, you had already been performing for almost a decade.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Just adding hours and hours into that bucket, bro.
Exactly. And it's like, and it's funny to kind of go back on something that you were saying about when you were in the church as a kid, where you almost took it for granted. Mm-hmm. Because like, you just figured like, yeah, I can sing. Duh, I can sing. Like everyone in my family can sing.
Yeah, lift like every voice and sing. Yeah, everybody's supposed to sing some shit every now and then.
Yeah, it's like we do this. It's like it was almost like a thing for you, where it was just like you didn't really like put the two and two together until it was like someone else came to you like, hey, you're super talented. I'm super talented. We should do some stuff together. Yeah,
I straight up did not see the vision until someone else kind of helped it click, because I was like kind of naively thinking, I gotta pick one.
Right.
I got to pick one. Either I can draw or I want to go full into like boy band type shit. So I was like, well, I've been drawing for as long as I can remember. Like since I could speak damn near. So I was like,
so it wasn't really even a decision that you like made. It was a decision that was made for you in a way to start a group, or because
I became a part of something.
Yeah, right. Because I was gonna, on the notes I had a question of like, did you always want to like be in a band or a group, and did you want to do like a vocal group versus like a band with instruments and stuff, but you never even had the thought.
To be totally honest, like I never had the thought on specifics.
Yeah,
I just knew for a fact I wanted to do something creative.
Yeah,
I knew for a fact I did not want to do no 9-to-5 shit. I knew that when I became 18, when I became an adult, when I had to live my own life and everything was on me, I knew for a fact I did not want to have a regular job.
Right.
I knew that. I knew that life wasn't for me.
Good.
I knew the life that I wanted to pursue was to be a full-time creative and to be able to wake up, pursue something creative, and live off of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I envy fucking like the Renaissance men so much, bro. Like Michelangelo.
Oh, yeah.
Leonardo da Vinci type shit. Because like, back then, like if you were a gifted artist, like if you were him like that, like people were paying you. It was like, here, you live here. We got you on food, whatever. You keep locking in and you keep painting that shit, bro. If I could find some rich motherfucker that was like, hey man, look, this shit is dope. I'll pay for you. I'll pay your bills. I'll do whatever you got. You just keep making this shit. And I'd be like, hell yeah. That's my goal. Or something like that. To be able to like push your craft and further like your talent or whatever I got going for me.
Yeah.
To push that to its max and make the most out of that. Cause like there's a lot of positives that go with it too. Like of course it would benefit me to like blow up and then just have a bunch of money to be able to like make music stress-free, make art stress-free, live life stress-free, travel. Mm-hmm. But like if I got to put in 10 to 12 hours a day at the 9-to-5, my hands are tied. I can't draw. I can't write them on the clock.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to take these orders. I can't like, so it's like, no, I don't want to get stuck on that treadmill, so to speak. So
that's so smart.
I've known like whatever it took to make those steps and be creative and live off of that, that's what I wanted to do. That's been the goal.
Right. Since you were already 18, like before you were 18, you had that mindset. And I think that's part of the, like, you need to have that going into your 18, 20, when your adulthood. If you don't have that direction set, destination in place, a lot of times you get lost and you go to college for 4 years, not even knowing what you're going for, waste a bunch of money, get out of a job, try to get a job, and you can't even get a job. People are like younger than you, getting better pay, and it's just like, fuck. I can't even imagine, because I was in the same mindset that you were, when like by the time I was 18, like I moved out here when I was 20, so it's almost been 10 years already, which is crazy. But
shit flies, man.
It's so crazy. But it's just like, had I not had like at the age of 18, the mindset of, I know that, because I was already working, since I was 16, I was already working normal jobs. So I was already wrote that off for my life. I always said, I'm not going to do this for the rest of my life. So whatever I got to do to make it happen and make it as a creative, I'm gonna do it. And I really do feel like if you don't have that, you end up like, it takes you a lot longer to find that path and be in a place where you're comfortable, like not making a bunch of money and doing it as a creative and playing a bunch of shows and shit like that. Because if you try to do what you're doing now in your mid 30s, yeah, it's a different life.
Shit'll eat you alive, bro.
Yeah, you give up so fast, and it's like you start having kids, and then you get a wife, and you buy a house, and all these life things start happening where it almost makes it feel like the creative life is not even an option anymore. So the fact that you started so young is so important.
It's been a completely cultivated passion. Like it has to be a passion. Like you have to absolutely want that, be about that, really like want that shit.
Yeah.
Because like if you don't, then like if it's just like, if you're gonna beat around the bush and kind of like, oh, it's a little hobby I do, and then wonder why it's not taking you to the like to the moon, because like you don't want it to.
Exactly.
You don't want it to take you to the moon. You're not putting your all in it because you're not treating it like it's your all.
Exactly.
But like it is for me at this point. I can't imagine doing anything else at this stage of my life now.
Yeah.
Like music has always been there in the background. Like a lot of core memories. I remember the song. The song takes me back.
Yeah.
Or somebody will play a certain album. It'll take me back to like before I could even drive, before I had all these responsibilities. It takes you back to simpler times. It triggers emotions. Like there's a song for everything that I felt on the whole spectrum. So it's like it's always felt very personal anyway.
Yeah.
So to be able to like push that forward and be a part of it on the other side too is just as interesting to me.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. And it's almost like, to piggyback off of that, it's like listening to your own music years later, that really brings you back, you know?
Man, sometimes it impresses me, really, that exact feeling. It's like such a profound thing, kind of blows me away. Like even like the situations I would write about, they make even more sense listening back to them now. And I was like, wow, I didn't know it was going to go down like that, but I was kind of like prophesizing my own bullshit.
Yeah.
So
dude.
it's like,
and sometimes like when you're writing those songs too, it comes from like a subconscious flow state, weird thing that you can't really explain. So it's almost like when you listen to it years later, it's like, damn, I was really in my bag.
Yeah, you're gonna need this later. Hold on.
It's like, yo, I love that so much, man. I mean, this was like this was all written. Like your life was like written.
Like all of it really feels like destiny type shit. Like that's another reason why I want to keep like pushing on this path forward, because like it feels more and more right every day.
Yeah.
Like the more that we get into this and how far we've already come in these years that we've been doing this, it's like I don't want to do nothing else.
Hell yeah, man.
I want to be fucking 70 years old selling paintings and releasing music.
Yes, and I can see it, dude. I mean,
absolutely.
I really do, 100%. So, it's like your mindset is that person. So it's like it's
me at this point. It's me at this point.
Exactly.
I wake up, and aside from like making my money here and there to like pay bills and do the shit I don't want to do, even the people with those day jobs and all that, whatever, they know me as the artist, the artsy guy. Like, oh, he draws when he's at home. He can do this, that, or whatever.
Like they know you're not going to be here forever.
Yeah, it's like you need a logo, go to that guy.
Yeah,
like literally like old like high school friends and be like, hey man, you're not famous yet. Like, let me get tickets to this and this. I'm like, man, it's getting there, bro. It's a trial, man. There's so many obstacles, predictable, unpredictable, everything in between. So it's like, but the journey is great, and it's just like every time we get an opportunity to get on that stage, every time I get a chance to write something new, whatever it may be, anytime I get to like dip into that creative side, it just validates it more and more. It's like, I deal with this crap, so I can do this.
Exactly.
So it's
balance. Yeah, exactly. And it's all like kind of back to that goal of like, I need to make sure I still make time. Even though I have to do this, I want to do this. So I have to make time. Otherwise, it's going to go by the wayside. And I kind of want to pick up back with when you met Jay Reed and when Prime Society really started. So what year was that? 2018?
2017.
17. Okay. Yeah. So that was before you were really in like your writing bag. So you weren't really writing songs before that.
Now, here's the thing. So like I'd be around people here and there, like friends of mine, like they have older brothers who were musicians, or like, you know, I like it was always kind of like there. Like before I knew Prime. Before Prime. Like even like on the church side, my cousins and my uncles, like I have members of the church that I'm also family with. So like I'm hearing them sing, working with other like musicians and all that. So it was always kind of there. Like it was always like looming like in the background. But like, you know, as a kid, you don't really look at things like that. So at least I wasn't. So it didn't really like all click until about 2017 or so, like I was saying. But there was always kind of like hints at it here and there. And again, like I love writing. I've always loved lyrics. Writing. Like anything really, like whether it be like a story or just writing ideas down.
So just creative
notes,
writing.
Just creative writing. There we go. And it's like I was kind of forced to do that too because school, like everything kind of like looking back at it gave me the tools.
Totally.
Because like I was in AP English.
Nice.
So we had to write like 10, 15 page essays just to graduate type shit, reading all these books, essays for each chapter. And it's like, I've always been like kind of left brain, I guess, when it comes to that stuff. Cause I love puzzles, word games, all that shit. Like family tradition of ours is always like Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, whatever. We're playing Scrabble while everybody's cooking.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
And I don't be losing at all. But yeah, so like the word games and stuff have always been fascinating to me. Like I even do I do that Wordle shit like every other day. Like when I get the time, it's like, oh, what's the word of the day? Try to guess it. So it's always been interesting to me. And like when I had assignments to do poems, I would do that. All of my voice notes are just like ideas for a song that I had, or like a catchy sentence or a lyric or something that I might get to use later. Something that like just like pops up. I was like, okay, put that in the notes. So whenever comes a time where I'm like, okay, I need to write something, but I got writer's block, let's say, I'd just go straight to like 3 or 4 different notes. I'm like, okay, these are kind of similar. Let's work with this. Let's put this together instead of trying to start from zero.
So you're talking about writing songs in Prime.
Yeah. No, I wasn't writing for Prime until I was officially part of the group.
So you were saying,
I was still like you
were just writing songs just to write songs. Like when things would come to you, just like, hey, let me write that down for later, maybe.
It was a creative outlet for sure. Because like even when I make art pieces, like there's an intent, there's like a message or like a feeling or an emotion that's attached to the piece.
Yeah.
So it's like another way to do that is like sometimes like I just had to vent something. I had to vent something, but I didn't necessarily want to vent it to a person. So like I would make sense out of it by like typing shit down. Or like literally just typing out my feelings, and it would be like paragraphs on paragraphs on paragraphs. And I'll just keep reading it over. I'm like, okay, let's try to make this like a poem or like an organized statement. To make it sound like if someone else were to read it, it doesn't just sound like a ramble, like a mess of thoughts.
Some sort of like movement.
Yeah, so like just clean it up a little bit. And then I was like, okay, maybe I can make some parts of this rhyme. Maybe it doesn't have to be just a poem. So like a lot of like our initial songs started off as poems I wrote.
And you just
or just like my feelings. Yeah. And then like we were jamming out one day and I was like, okay, what can I do with this?
Wow.
And then
you have
the songs developed into that.
Of all these ideas.
So like that's why we were able to fire off like 6, 7 songs at a time. Wow. Because we were doing shit like that. And I've kind of always like been like, you know, fascinated with words, like that kind of thing. So it's a constant. I'm never not writing.
Yeah.
I'm never not writing. And I have been, I guess, even for about a year or two before they met me. So like it was easy to have some stuff in my pocket. It was like, okay, we need songs. I can kind of cook here.
So it was right away that you guys started writing together then, as soon as you started performing with them, or what did it take some time for you guys to like get in the studio and start recording?
It took a little bit of time. So like right off the bat, I had recorded the In My Head hook for them. Okay. And they already had that written. I didn't have to do anything for that. So that worked out. But other than that, I would do like maybe a couple background vocals here and there. I have a song like that I would try to work on this, that, or the other thing. Like there's like little ideas here and there. We kind of hint at it, but like other than that, like it wasn't straight to, all right, welcome to the club. Yeah, get to work. Totally. It wasn't like that. So like there was just like I would perform my part. I would do maybe a song or 2 at the show. That's that. But then it got to a point where we started doing more shows and we want to make money off of it. We want to expand as people. We had to like make a name for ourselves and branch out from just, okay, like we're going to sing like 4 songs and get off the stage.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up doing like the comedy shows in Glendale for a little bit with our boy Reese, because he's a stand-up comedian. He would organize shows there, and they wanted live music for like an hour or so before or after the comedic act. So we were doing that, and it started off as just covers, you know. So, but if we have a guy who can play keys, we have a guy that can play the bass, we got a drummer, we can play all these instruments, and I can sing all of these songs. It's like, why not use our shit?
Exactly.
So like that ended up becoming the obvious thought after a while. So we ended up just writing our own music, and then COVID happened, shut everything down.
Yeah.
So we had no new opportunities coming in, no new shows or nothing like that. Everything's closed. So that gave us the opportunity to kind of just like literally lock in and jam out and just write new shit. And that kind of was the catalyst for pivoting us in the direction that we're at now.
Yeah.
So like we were literally just in one room, everybody's kind of just jamming, playing songs or whatever. And then we got a mic set up. If something comes to you, get up there and say something. Turn the voice memo on so we don't forget anything.
Exactly.
If we bottle that lightning, we got it right here.
Yeah.
So we don't forget. And that saved us a lot too. Like whenever we just have a practice session, whatever, somebody's always recording.
It's so
always,
smart.
Always. Because you never know, you come up with a new idea. And I can't tell you, I've forgotten great songs.
Bro, that's the
I've forgotten great songs, like more than I can count.
Man.
So like I try to go back home and I'm like, fuck. So
right, dude. I relate to that 100%, dude. So at that time, was it already Jay Reed, Miles, and what's the last guy's
So
name?
Jay Reed and Miles were like the core members.
Okay, so they were there
that was who I
before,
met.
and then
They were there before.
Are they brothers?
Brothers.
Okay, so
Blood
they're brothers.
Yeah.
Very
Blood
nice.
brothers for
So
sure.
they already had the Prime Society thing going.
It was a thing. There was other group members before me that had came and went. Type
Vocalists.
like vocalists, other rappers, whatever it may be, but
Really?
like not a singer.
Right.
I'm the one of one. just
so it's known.
Just so
I'm
we
the
know.
Only singer.
There were no other Shaheems before. No, but
Nice. So you came into
at least
it
to
with
my
something
knowledge.
already
At least to my
established.
knowledge, there wasn't like a vocalist as the purpose that I served for the group.
And then how long was it before you added the keyboardist? What's his name? Juan. That's right.
So we were about, I want to say like a year and a half into it at this point as a band. And we were kind of we were having a session with one of the engineers that we know from Salt Mine Studios.
Oh, nice.
And we're just in the thick of it with the session. We're going on with this song. And the engineer goes, hey, I think you guys should use keys on this song. And it's like, we know some talented keys players for sure. So initially Jay's like, I don't know. I'm not trying to like bring someone new into this on like at this stage of the process, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, come on, just give it a chance. So eventually it goes to the point where like we get the keys player on the phone. And like, long story short, Jay and Juan end up talking to each other for a little bit on the phone. It's like, oh, I live here. It's like, wait a minute, I live there too. Look out the window. These motherfuckers live across the street from each other.
Whoa.
And have for some time. So yeah, he was a dude across the street with the motorcycle all day. Like turns out he's got a whole studio at home too, keyboard set up, all that good stuff. So he ended up just bringing his keys over to the house and played that song with us. And then same as me, he was a part of it. He was in the fold after a while.
Man.
And then that was it. And then we've had sessions of drama and a bunch of other stuff with a few other drummers. And we've got Jeremiah now. He's our Merc drummer for hire. He's been clutch for us ever since the Burning Man days. So we've been keeping it steady with that. And as of right now, it's the 4 core members, me, Juan, Jay, and Infinite, Miles.
Right.
And then Jeremiah pretty much drums with us a lot of the time, but he drums with other people too. So
yeah, just like a session drummer.
Yeah. So that's been it. And that's,
very nice.
Like, yeah, the group kind of came together, you know, and the more shows you do locally, the more hands you shake, rub shoulders, you get to meet other musicians. So
absolutely.
And we successfully have, and we do stuff with like Dean on guitar at the Joey's, Matt, Poster Child, you know, he's been great for us too. So to be able to like feed creatively off of like so many other people and be inspired by them in the same process and get to know people at the same time has been really dope.
100%, dude. I mean, yeah, like we were talking about before we started, we kind of got a few mutual friends, like the Color 8, like Emmett and Cal.
Of course,
and,
can't forget the Color 8. There was that's a group that we were jamming with early. Like, that was where Coffin came to be, the newest one that we just released. Like that, it took years for a few of these things to come to be because like we knew they were special. Like we were working on it for a while, but like I said, we would have drama with this person or trying to gather and get everybody to record it this way. something would go wrong. So it was a lot. It was a lot of trial and error. And we knew like a lot of the songs and what we do are special to us. So we didn't want to just release a half-assed version and have them like fade away into the dust. So we ended up never doing it until now. Yeah. Until we got them to like this. And it's really nice too. It feels like it was supposed to be that way because it's gotten to such a polished point.
Yeah.
To where like we know these songs like the back of our hand and we still perform them live. So it's been really helpful for us. And in that process, I've written more songs and we've released projects in between. And like that's why we have those to perform too, on top of like, you know, doing covers here and there for whatever the gig may be.
Yeah.
So
and you've had them for so long that they're just in the back pocket at this point. You've been writing Coffin since 2021. Which is crazy. I mean, the fact that it came out 3 years later, like that's something to be said about like your dedication to the quality, because it's almost like when you package it up, like to your point where you're saying like there was all these conflicts happening and we didn't want to put it out just to put it out. It's just like when you put it out, you want to make sure it tastes, smells, sounds, feels, looks good.
Exactly. And like,
you know what I mean?
And I feel like as any like creative person can understand, you're going to be your harshest critic.
100%.
You will be your own harshest critic every time. And if you're not, you should care more. But like you should care the most about what you want to present to the world. So I feel like it's only natural to be your harshest critic. And I think to an extent it is healthy because you will push yourself to do it as well as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Like there's, of course, there's a time when like beating up on yourself for something is not going to be as mentally healthy. That's negative, not productive. But you know what I mean? Like if you want to get better at something, you're gonna have to be honest about what you want to improve.
Yeah.
So there's times we listen to it, it's like, it's missing something. This isn't quite what I want this to be known for. Like, would the Chili Peppers release Can't Stop half-assed? No, they wouldn't do that. It's like the people that you look up to and the people that inspire you, it's like you want to bring that same level of care and effort and in respect to the craft, not just like, fuck it. It sounds like a song. Like,
exactly. No, 100%, dude. And I think, like I said, it's like your dedication to the craft and to like the quality of your product. And that's something that people that don't really have the passion, deep passion, they're the ones that like, they don't really care that much, you know? And they're just like, and they might be doing it for the wrong reasons anyways. You know, maybe they're trying to put music out just to be popular.
Oh yeah, there's people more successful than us that do it with that in mind.
Yeah, but they won't be here 10 years from now.
No, they won't.
You know what I'm saying? You guys will be, and they won't
Absolutely.
be. And that's the difference. And I think that's like the long-term mindset that you guys have is going to create the longevity for years and years and years to come, you know? So I definitely see in you just in this conversation. It's crazy. Like we've never met, but I feel like I already like know you.
I know you, man. No, I get that.
So it's just like, but I definitely feel like your mindset is exactly what it needs to be a successful creative person, whatever that lane is, you know? And I think it's funny because I like to think I have like similar mindsets that you guys have. And I have a lot of people that come on here with these similar mindsets that I know for a fact that a bunch of these people that are coming on this pod 10 years from now, we're all going to be like, holy shit. Like
watch that shit back. Look at them.
Yeah. Look at how young we were. Look at where we are now. Like, and we're just all going to be hanging out in a totally different class type shit. And just because we kept doing what we love to do now. And it's from now. And it's like, I think that's it's something that I almost think it's so common because like I surround myself with a lot of people like that, but it's not. It's like so not common to like have that. So it's always cool for me to like talk with someone that kind of has where I see that in your own way, you're kind of living your own life with the same principles that I kind of live mine by, but in your own way. So I love that shit, man. It's almost like I feel like we're just like part of a big community. It's like
seriously,
the creative community.
It feels it's endearing for real. It's like, okay, so I'm not crazy. There's other people who kind of get this. Yeah,
that's it.
It's always cool to find your people in that kind of light, man. 100%.
Hey, Martians, real quick. I appreciate you taking the time to listen or watch wherever you are in the world. Over the last few months, the Martian family has grown so much. I could not be more thankful for all of my guests and every single one of you who continue to tune in every single week. Subscribers, ratings, likes, and comments all help us grow here on Mars. And it would mean the world. If you haven't already, please go to onmarspod.com/subscribe to subscribe on YouTube. Like and leave a comment, rate us on Spotify. All this good stuff helps keep the engine running to inspire Martians all over the world. P.S. Follow us on Instagram @onmarspod. Okay, let's get back to it.
I write all these notes. And then we end up just going through like so many of them, like just naturally. And it's like one thing leads to another. And it's just like, all this stuff. It's like we're knocking all
it would be nice if every conversation could be this smooth, but you know,
for sure, dude.
that's how that shit goes. And like, I can kind of take responsibility for that sometimes too. You know, it's not the first podcast I've been on for sure. And it's been like, you know, you grow as a person, you get more comfortable doing things, you get more familiar with it. So it's like, okay. So I see it as like, oh, just, you know, have a good time and talk. I'd have the same conversation if the cameras were off.
Right.
So it should just be just as smooth, just to chill. So I'm like, okay. Like,
absolutely.
Let's see what we got to talk about, man. Let's get into it. Like, so
no, for sure. And I appreciate it, man.
Definitely.
I appreciate your time, man. Because I know you don't even do solo interviews, man. So it's like
first one.
This is a big deal,
Hell
dude.
yeah. No, this is a milestone in my life for sure. But it's part of that, like, you know, taking leaps, you know.
For sure, man.
Something new. So
absolutely,
there's
bro.
times when it'll be necessary. I'll get the group here for the next one.
Yeah, exactly. We definitely will be having the group on, bro.
Oh yeah, and definitely Jay would also be fucking gun to my head if I didn't get to take charge and do frontman duties. You feel me? It's like, man, you can't stand in front of everybody and not do frontman shit off the stage, bro. So
that's what I had to have you on first, dude. The lead guy.
No, I'll take the lead. I'm down for that,
man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and it, like you said, it does feel just like a conversation, and that's why I love this pod. And like a lot of people ask me like why I do this, and it's like to have conversations like this. It's like because I feel like I'm learning so much and being so inspired just by your story and your mindset. And it's like I forget that these cameras are even on. Yeah, like
bro.
realistically,
you got some bright ass lights in this bitch. That's it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but no, it's mentally good for me too to like ever get the opportunity to be in these kind of spaces because, dude, like we hear so much noise all day, every day, bro. Like, especially just like from people we know, people we don't know. It's like you hear so much bullshit and stuff that is like doesn't align with you mentally. There's like not being on the same page with people damn near like most days of the week. Yeah. And just having to tolerate that energy, it takes a toll on me. It makes me like it just drains my energy, like so to speak. So it's like when you can finally be in a like quote unquote safe space to like let the other side thrive and feel like you're actually understood, it does wonders. Dude, it's so nice.
I love that, man. No, I 100% am with you on that, where it almost feels like, especially in these conversations, we lock in, we talk for an hour and a half, 2 hours or whatever. No phones, no electronics. We're not looking shit up. We're just having a conversation. And that's like hard to do nowadays. Like it's hard to make time to hang out with someone just to talk. Mm-hmm. It's like 9 times out of 10, generally you're like going to hang out with someone to do something other than just like hang out and talk.
Literally every day of my life, bro. Every damn day of my life, dude. Like I'll have a plan. I'll have an idea of how I want the day to go, but then like, oh, somebody needs this, or I got to go meet this person. Oh, I forgot I agreed last week to do this week. Mm-hmm. Like it's crazy. And of course, like having a group calendar and shit like that, writing shit down on like the whiteboard in my room, it helps keep things organized for sure. Yeah. But it's like, it takes its toll negatively on me too a lot of the time because like I do have a lot of circles. Yeah. Like blessed to have even one for sure. Cause like I know like, you know, people have different numbers of friends, family, what have you, whatever. Exactly. But it's like sometimes like, or I'm not able to hang out with my with mom and my brothers as much because I perform 4 times a week, or I can't see my roommates from college because like, oh, they live over here, I live over here now, I got to work this 9 to 5, I got to do this and this. Sorry, I can't make that. But and it feels like it sucks because like, of course, like you want to value all those connections and maintain them, but like we all got the same 24 hours, only 24 hours. Like now, while that can be used to be like, yeah, go and do something, you can also only do so much.
Yeah, that's so true. And as you get older, you lose time.
Yeah, like, you lose time. And it's not to like say that one person is worth more than the other, but it's like, it sucks like contextualizing it that way to see that like, oh damn, I wish I could have like made more time for this, that, or the other. But I see it as one of those like sacrifices that comes with like when you finally get to that milestone to where you don't have to work, you don't have to do this anymore, you can use that time to fully be at peace and enjoy other people's company. So it's like, there's a payoff, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but it's still like that constant feeling of like, damn.
Until you get there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%, dude. And it's like once you're making full-time wage off your music and your art, then all that extra free time that you were spending slaving at some bullshit job, now you can start putting more time into the other buckets. And that's like the biggest thing, where it's like everyone has these buckets of what's important to them, what's the most important, and a lot of times there's like kind of like a priority, you know, where it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Like it's gotten to the point where it's like you have to prioritize 1 or 2 over the other ones that you really want to do because like that's what it takes to survive.
Exactly.
And it's like,
That's tough.
Fuck, man.
Especially as a creative dude, like, because it takes so long too, like, it's really hard to stay in it. So the fact that you guys have been able to like stay in it too and like see through it, because when you guys started compared to the opportunities and stuff that you guys get now, because you guys have just kept
Bro,
going.
it's like night and day.
It's crazy.
It really is.
About.
We literally went from having to pay people to get on their stage, which is some fucking bullshit.
Pay to plays are nuts.
Pay to play to like getting paid to play. And if people can't like adhere to our price or like meet our terms, it's like, okay, cool, we'll find someone who does. And like even then, like there was a fat period of time where it was like, we'll take anything.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Just pay us. Goddamn.
The starving artist.
Bro,
yeah,
seriously.
Dude, for sure.
Cover the food, man. Fuck. But
there's 4 of us. Please.
Seriously. It's like, shit, bro. Sold you all these tickets, bro. But
yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah, exactly. Bro. So it's like,
bitches.
It really like, it puts the path in perspective to know that we've gone from like the lowest of the low, like the level 1 to like level 100, like the fucking ads and shit.
Yeah, straight up though.
So yeah, like, and it's like to know that there's higher still to go. So like it adds to the motivation. It's like, man, we've come this far in X amount of time. And it's like, I've had to put more time into other things in life that I fucking hated. I can keep putting time into this.
Yeah.
I can can be tired for the shit I'm passionate about if I can go be tired for work.
Yeah,
like
for sure, man.
If I can put up with traffic, I can put up with traffic to go to a show.
If it's your real passion, that shouldn't even be a question.
No, it's not even a thing.
Yeah,
that's
so
just
you don't even think about it.
No, not at all.
It's like, I just have to do it. That's like the mindset.
That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this is what I signed up for. Yeah. If I want to get over there, that's what it takes.
100%, dude. And so I have on my notes here. There was I saw this photo while I was doing some research. You met Jon Bellion one time.
Oh hell yeah, a couple times.
Yeah, and that's a big I would say when it comes to DIY producer songwriter guys, that's one of the top guys, like as far like in the industry, you know.
Inspiration for me too,
for sure. 100%. It's
it's one of those artists for sure that really put it into perspective for me, especially watching him perform live a few times.
Yeah.
Funny enough, like one of the first times I saw him perform was at the Pub Rock.
Nice. That's just like a tiny venue compared to where he's
at now. And I've seen him do like theaters in LA and shit.
Yeah.
So to see him perform at the Pub Rock and then go to one of my first shows ever performing was at the Pub Rock.
Wow.
And like when I'm on that stage, I'm like, damn, I really went from watching somebody like from the crowd standpoint to being on this stage and seeing like how cool it is. Especially like I enjoy a lot of his music for sure.
Yeah.
Jay, not so much.
Yeah.
He'll still is like, oh, that's your boy Jon Bellion. I was like, hey, yeah, I fuck with Jon Bellion. Like, bro, for sure. He's talented as fuck, dude. I think he works for like Pixar and shit now.
Yeah, now exactly.
Yeah. And he was in I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. He was in the Broly movie. He got a voice acting role in that shit, bro. Yeah. It was a little small role in like the beginning, but like still.
It makes sense.
So that shit was dope. And he had Chris Sabat on his fucking album. He had Piccolo.
Damn,
shit, bro. Yeah,
dude
was sick. So
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
but
like,
I just want to talk about him just like a little bit, like to kind of like just because of the fact that's like that's one of those guys that he was kind of, I guess, in those days that you guys were starting Prime Society, he was posting up videos of him making songs, like all those tracks, like in his room or whatever, like in his room studios.
Those are some of my favorite YouTube videos, bro. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like dude. I would like. Any chance that he's like, oh, releases the making of this song or behind the scenes of this song, I was like, hell yeah. And that was a big part of inspiration for me too. Like, even though I'm just really kind of branching into like the production side, because I've got such talented musicians in Jay and Juan already that do a lot of that heavy lifting. It helps with the songwriting process and the creation of music to be able to kind of do it on my own too.
Yeah.
And to see him do like the shit that he does with the MPC, the way he makes sounds from nothing. It's very like the way that he's just able to like have full creative control with his ideas.
Yeah.
And be able to see what they develop into is really cool. Whether it's the best song in the world or not, just like the principle that he's creating with is so inspiring to me. So
yeah, man.
Big props to that. And to have met him a couple of times was really cool. I had like won a sweepstakes with my boy. Shout out to James, one of my old friends. Where we ended up meeting him and like his whole band like in person, like hung out with them, had food and everything.
Amazing.
And being able to pick his brain about his musical approach like helps me in a lot of ways too. And like to be kind of starstruck about it at the time and to like be able to talk to him on such a grounded level did a lot for my minds, like for my mentality and my approach with it now too. Cause like one thing that always stuck with me was like, I'm just a normal ass motherfucker, man. It's like, gave me the energy to be like, okay, I can do this. It's like, This is a normal guy. He wants to do what he loves. Like, if you can get that far with just that passion, then
why can't I?
Exactly. Why not?
Yeah,
Why not?
for sure, man. And that's why I wanted to bring it up too, because like he is one of those guys where it's just like, if you track back his career, you can see how much groundwork he put in before he blew up. And it's just like, then you start seeing all the songs he wrote for other people, and you start seeing all these behind the scenes things that you would have never known if he never would have even like blown up, you know? But it's just like the fact, or the reason why he blew up and got to where he is now is because he laid the groundwork. And it's just like, that's what you have to do. And it's just like, you could just be a regular dude, have deep, deep passion, and be so successful. And it's like, that's really all it takes, is just like not stopping, getting better at what you do, and loving what you do. And that's like,
and no matter how long it takes, like it's been years and years in the making. It was years and years in the making for him.
Exactly.
So definitely, like,
yeah,
all the little details of that actually have been, since you bring it up, more to me than I realized. So
yeah, it's dude. Every time I have a pod episode, it's just like, are we having a therapy session?
Is this? Yeah. Did you just peel back a layer of like my childhood, bro? Like, I told you to do that shit, man. But yeah, no, and it's like that does a lot for me too, to be like, okay, X amount of years went by and now I'm performing on the same stage as him. Like, he did the pub rock, now I can do this. Or how many years go by, how much time passes before like I keep putting in this work and now I'm performing at the bigger stages that he's on. Exactly. I'm producing in this space or whatever. So it's
man.
It all feeds the fire, man.
For sure, bro. And it's almost like you can see parallels with your guys' careers, where it's just like, we both played at pub rock together. And then it's just like when you guys play theaters, like when you guys go on a theater tour or something like that, and you'd be like, damn, Jon Bellion was here. And all of a sudden you could be playing arenas and be like, damn, Jon Bellion was here.
I say, hey man, you know Jon Bellion performed here, bro.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah. It's like, no, now you know.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, I just needed to bring him up because it's almost like these are like the types of people that inspire us to keep doing what we love because of the fact that they make it seem possible. So it's like I needed to bring him up. So I wanted to talk about music, obviously, like writing music and releasing music. You guys have been doing that for a long time now, since 2017, 18. Do you feel like pressure to release music all the time, every year, or is it something where you guys feel like you'd rather sit on it? And because there's something about artists nowadays where it's like the constant pressure to be releasing and stay relevant and pushing content and all that extra shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, do you guys buy into that, or what are you guys' perspective?
For me personally, it's like a back and forth. There was definitely a time, like before we released like the deluxe version of Know Your Worth and The World Is Yours, where it's like, okay, we got to get something out, because like we were doing so many live shows, and like one thing I don't like to do is when people will come up to us after those live shows and it's like, oh, you guys are amazing, like where can I listen to your music, and then have nothing to show for it. It's like
any new music, right?
Yeah, but like now there's a pretty lengthy catalog for you to go and check out.
For sure.
So that takes away that pressure for sure. But there was definitely a time when I felt more pressure. It's like, okay, we need to have more music out. Right. And even now, like we have a few, like whether they be singles or things that we want specifically on this album that we're sitting on. Now it's just a matter of like, now that we've got Coffin out, we've got another release coming up next month.
Okay.
And then eventually once that whole project is done, we're just going to just keep going with what we have and get it all out. Because we're all from the thinking of like, the more music we have out, the better. We want to make music.
For sure.
We want to be musicians. And like, I think a lot of these songs are great and deserve to be heard.
Yeah.
So now it's like, finally, after all this trial and error and like all of this, like, nah, it didn't work that way. We're finally getting the ball rolling and like getting that stuff out. And it's not like, it didn't feel like a negative pressure, because we all knew that like, we're doing our due diligence.
Right.
We're taking the time to like do this right. And when it comes out, we're going to be so proud of it that we're glad that it's out how it is. For sure. We wouldn't have wanted to rush it just to be like, oh, it's out. And then when we listen back to it, be like, man, I fucking hate that shit. Like we should have fixed that, and that. And like, no, I don't want to do that. Or even times when I finally post like a drawing and I'm like, it's done. And I look at it and I'm like, no. I need to fix all this. So it's like, if you can avoid that feeling, granted, like if you're like a perfectionist or you always want to do better for your shit, there's always going to be something to nitpick. Always. You got to find that line. But if there's something that we know we can really lock in and fine tune and get it to be to get it to sound as good as we think of ourselves, then that's what we're going to do. We're going to do whatever it takes to make it sound its best.
Right.
So
not letting the pressure of time necessarily make you put it out, because I think that's when it becomes, and this kind of goes back to like your guys' dedication to the craft and also the quality, because it's just like you want to feel good about it when it goes out, not just check the box and say that it's out.
Yeah. And like
to move on, just to move on.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the better we feel about it, like in an ideal world, the better that'll translate for like how it's received. Like you can tell it's like, oh, someone put their heart and soul into this. Like they really wanted this to sound its best. They really took their time on this. Yeah. And like people who appreciate music and respect it for what it is, like from the ground up, like will love that.
They'll see that.
And they'll appreciate that. The same way that people who love music like I do appreciate all those little details, because I hear it and I see it in other artists, local or otherwise, every level.
Yeah.
And I'm like, see, that's what the fuck I'm talking about. This person cared about this album. This person cared about getting this song out and making it sound good. Like,
yeah,
it's nice.
To that point too, I think something that you talked about where you guys were performing a lot, it's almost like you were sharpening the saw is a good way to put it. Whereas like the act of sawing being releasing music, if you guys have a dull saw, it's not going to cut. But it's just like the fact that you guys are playing all this music, constantly sharpening the saw. When you do release that music, that's just gonna be like, pshing, like a goddamn German steel, because you're gonna be so locked in as a group and also performing these songs that you're now recording and releasing that you're just gonna execute them better. And it's just like, and from the producer standpoint for like Jay Reed, because he's the main producer, right?
Him and Juan.
Like, okay. But like
but
for them to like kind of hear live, that also allows them to like figure out how they want the recorded version to sound as well. So it's just like kind of sitting on it and letting it marinate, for lack of a better term, is like the best way to create, honestly. It's like, rather than saying like, if we don't put out a song a month for the next year, then we're dead in the water. It's just like, because that shit's just shooting yourself in the foot.
It's really like, the being able to perform all the time has really been a blessing for us, because like when we do like these 3-4 hour shows or these 2 hour shows, whatever, it's all adding into those 10,000 hours of being like, oh yeah, we perform all the time. It adds to the track record. It adds to the experience. We just become more seasoned as performers. It's only going to do us a favor.
Yeah.
So that's nice. That's always been cool to have. And it's also like helped us kind of sculpt a lot of these songs in a way. It makes it seem like we were meant to take this time and kind of like trial run these songs to see how we want it to really, really sound.
Exactly.
So like it's added details to so many things. Like we'll take a specific part of Jay's bass that he did live one time at this show last month. I'm like, that was dope. We should put that in the track for real. We should have it there. Or we should break this part of the song down like this into this and that. So it's given us a lot of notes. It's given us a lot of things to improve on.
Are you guys recording your sets?
No, we've talked about it a lot. Like we would love to release like a live.
That'd be so sick.
Like a live album. But it's just a matter of having the right materials and you know, doing it right.
Exactly. For sure, man. So, yeah, because if you're going to do it, it has to be done like you were doing like a studio recording, but live.
Yeah.
Like,
and we've had videographers come through and record our sets, like record a song or two here or there and all that. So that's been cool too. That's been very nice. But yeah, I think you're talking about more of like a recorded for like a live set kind of thing.
Yeah. Or I was even thinking more so like
a step above.
Yeah, kind of like that. I was thinking more so too, to kind of like listen back. So for instance, like if Jay Reed did like a thing that like he did live, you guys can like listen back and be like, oh shoot, what was that thing or whatever.
Yeah, we have clips for that for sure.
So
definitely. And that comes with like having like the videographers and people that we know sending us clips and all that. And we'll just listen to them back. Yeah. Like when we post them on Instagram on our story or whatever. Like we'll hear like bits and pieces to like draw from.
Yeah, totally, man. Yeah, and it's almost like because there's a thing that comedians do all the time is they record their sets just so they can edit. So it's almost like when they're telling jokes, they can kind of tell like I should take that part out, I should add this part in, I should add this tag. People aren't laughing here. Let me take that out.
It's like game film, bro.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
dude.
no, like I've seen it as like. The moment I made the decision that I wanted to take this seriously and this was something I wanted to do, the switch flipped to it's like, okay, if you want to take this seriously, this is what that looks like.
Yeah.
You're going to have to study all of the small details that you want to improve on. Your stage presence, your crowd reactions, like all of like the interactions with people on stage, off stage, your actual vocal performance itself, where you're standing, this, that, every little thing. So you're going to have to like dissect it. And the only way to do that is to watch back our performances. And that's been like one of the best teachers, aside from like, giving each other constructive criticism and ideas. So it's like, okay. So like when I was in the middle of the performance, overthinking like what I had to perform and getting too caught up in the song or the moment or whatever, I thought it was fine. I thought I was giving off what I wanted to give off. I thought I was giving off that mood. But watching it back, I might look a little bit more stiff or like out of character, not giving off what I wanted to give off. So it's like, okay, so just because it seemed like it at the time, let's loosen up a little bit, do that better next time, be more mindful of that. And then the more mindful you are of like those little like things, there's less things.
Yeah.
And then it gets to a point where it's like I was just comfortable. So it's like, okay, let's perform. I know this song. I know how to sing this song. Let's just have a good time, make the most of it. And it just gets more and more like comfortable the more familiar I am with it. So.
Yeah, I love how you said there was like game film, because that's exactly what it is. Realistically, it's just like when you see it firsthand, like, oh, that's what I look like, that's what I sound like, that's how I feel when I'm on stage. Like, because it's one thing for even one of your bandmates to tell you like, hey, Shy, during this part, da 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 da. It's so easy for you to be like, nah,
I'm gonna do my own
thing.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
I'm gonna do my own thing.
Yeah, it's just like, but then there's no denying it when you see it firsthand, where it's just like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm going to change that because I
Coach
didn't
comes up to you and says, you see that bullshit right there? You tell me you didn't do that? Run it back. You tell me you didn't do
Rewind. Yeah.
Right
Slow
there,
motion.
the yellow circle and the shit. You didn't do that shit right there?
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah.
And I think that's like another dedication to the craft thing, where it's just like some people can come in and just phone it in, and be cool. But it's just like, they're not going to have the engagement. They're not going to have the stage presence. They're not going to have the performance quality because they're not going to have the dedication to the craft, really.
Yeah. And dude, that's something like as I perform more and more has become like a pet peeve of mine. Not to sound like a purist of the art, but
when people don't care.
Yeah, like you can see it. And that helps too, like not even just watching myself, but just being an audience member
for sure
at any show. It's like, okay, so when they do that, I felt like this as an audience member, or that worked really well. That was cool.
It's a great point.
Yeah, so it's like, it helps because it's like, I've been in an audience before. I've been somebody who wants to just have a good time and listen to good music and like enjoy the energy that the performers bring. I've been on that side. So like, if I can know what I'm expecting from those guys, I can give that back. Treat others how you want to be treated type shit, but just for the sake of performance.
Yeah.
And on top of like, if that's really what I want to do, I would hate to be uncomfortable before every so it's like I'd much rather be comfy doing this and keep getting it down pat until it's second nature to me instead of feeling like, oh shit, here we go again. I hope I don't fuck this up.
Exactly. It's like that would make a show a negative experience.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like now, because you're comfortable, because you've honed in your process, realistically, that's what it is. It's like your process when it comes to nailing a show, because you've done it before, you've done it so many times now where it's just like, it's second nature for you, like you say, but it's just like, if you would have never taken that time to like watch back film and like tweak this, tweak that, become more comfortable, it'd be harder for you to get to that comfortable point, and you definitely feel those nerves every time. And it's just like, I mean, I'm sure people still feel nerves, but it's like, it's one of those things that once you've done it so many times, you can maybe feel the nerves before, but as soon as you get on stage, everything's out the window. And it's just like, bang, you're just in it.
The way that I always get rid of the nerves for me, and it came with experience of doing it a few times, it's like, I'm just talking it out with myself. It's like, are you nervous? Like, yeah. It's like, why? For what? It's like, I don't know. What if I mess up? It's like, bro, you practiced. You wrote these songs. You sing them every week. You know these songs. You know what you need to do. You know what you have to do. You know what's being asked of you. Just go do it. If you're overthinking it, you're going to manifest the thing you're scared of.
Right.
Like if you're scared to mess up and you're too worried about messing up, you're not performing. You're not in the moment. Yeah. And now you're messing up. And now everyone in the crowd, especially this front row, can see that you're a little nervous. And now they're worried about how nervous you are and judging you for that instead of judging you for what you went on stage to do.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, why would I give into that energy when I can just be confident in what I'm presenting?
Yeah.
So
then everybody wins, because like they can see your confidence. You feel confident. You have a better show. They have a better experience. It's like realistically, as artists, that's like
it all works hand in hand, bro. And it's like, I don't need to be nervous if I know I put in the work to be here.
Yeah.
If I've been practicing for hours, I've been meeting with this vocal coach, I've been doing the writing. All of these guys have been practicing bass, keys, their verses back and forth, drums, all that. Like we do, like we're experiencing this. We know what we're supposed to do. So it's like,
Yeah.
And if you really respect the craft, you will be doing that work behind the scenes.
You will, yeah.
And if you see somebody who's like, okay, this guy just thought like, oh, he's supposed to be on the stage. We're supposed to treat him like he's a musical god. It's like, okay, well, have you put in the work to be considered a musical god? No.
Yeah.
No? Okay, then shut the fuck up. Like, so, okay.
You could see it 100%.
Yeah,
You're right.
and if you're really bad at it, you won't have to prove that. It's like you want Beyonce praise and you haven't done
so true,
you
man.
haven't done Beyonce type work, or like
Yeah.
anyone who's gone to such a high point. It's like they didn't just coast there. And if you know that, then you know that you're gonna have to do some work yourself.
Yeah.
And if you're confident in that work, if you really put in that work, then what do you have to worry about? Just go let it show.
Yeah, man.
And that's done wonders for me, for sure. So
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I mean, that's like, man, it keeps going back to like that dedication to the craft thing, but I think that's like such a big thing. That's like a part of you, for real. Like,
and a lot of people don't have
deep
that.
dedication.
They're not passionate about what they're doing. Like they're not invested in the art form. It's a clout chase for them. And like that's true. Like I'm not like calling out anyone specific, but you can see it. You know, like when TikToker number 3 million all of a sudden wants to release a track because they got a few extra followers on live or whatever it may be. YouTuber X, Y, and Z had 1 million subscribers, so now they can just release a track and get 1 million plays. But that's not. You're not a good musician because you're getting attention.
Yeah.
Like that's not what makes it. It's the work behind the scenes and what you've created to put into the music, into the crafts. Like that's what it is. It's not just the flashy shit on the surface.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just like, oh, he's got an easier life. He's got more money than me. What does he do? Raps? I can rap. No, you can't, bro.
Exactly. Yeah,
like,
for sure.
But like
man.
they don't have that person that's just like, no, you can't. They have a promoter friend who has a promoter friend who put them on the stage because they paid $300.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Or
So
they
it's
have like the influence to get people to buy their shit just because they're popular when it's like the music's trash, or like they don't have the longevity that like a real artist would have.
Yeah. And because they have the influence, everybody's kind of like shifting to
Looking
that. It's like,
at 'em,
oh, they've got the influence. This must be the standard. When there's tons of unknown musicians and artists and shit on the same labels as these people damn near that are really doing what you're looking for.
Yeah, man.
That are really pushing the craft forward. Like all this shit would be dead if you didn't have those people pushing the craft forward. You would have carbon copies of shit that you think you want.
Yeah.
That doesn't hold up. Like you said, it's not going to be here in 10 years.
And that's it, man. It's just like those people that are doing it for the clout chasing and like almost trying to look the look, but not like, they're trying to like talk the talk, but not walk the walk. You know, like that's, you see it a lot, and it's tough to see, especially in all creative industries, but music specifically. I'd say that's like the most, I guess, where they see the glitters and they want it. They want the fame and they want the fortune and they want the cloud and all this extra shit, but they don't see what goes into it. The people that that actually make it and blow up overnight, you go back and then you see the 10 years worth of work on the back end. And that's when the people that don't really want it, they see that and they're like, oh, yeah, I'm out. Yeah, like I guess it's not for me. Like I don't have time for that. Like I'm not going to dedicate to that.
And in the small habits too, it's like, I don't need to get better on stage.
Right.
I just got to play the song here. I just got right here. It's like, yeah, bro, like that's not what it is. Like people just don't fuck with you because they can see
100%.
They cannot feel what you're not doing. Like
and then those people would be the first ones to like call them out. They're like, you know what I'm saying? They're like,
fuck you, I know my shit nice.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. It didn't move me, dog.
Yeah. It's like, and I mean, it's like, I love stand-up comedians and stuff. So it's like, I almost think about it like that, where like, because performing, and there's a lot of parallels with stand-up and artist, I think. But when stand-up comedians don't edit enough, when they don't like try to do the most shows to basically sharpen their saw in their way, then there's some comedians that will almost turn on the crowd and say like, oh, you're not laughing? Fuck you. Da, 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 da. Just
I'm
like,
funny. Like, no, bro, you're here to make us laugh.
And that's like the thing. It's like if a musician, like if after a song finished and they didn't clap and the musician was like, fuck you, that was an amazing song, they would probably get booed off stage. 100%.
Seen it.
Like
Definitely.
that's crazy. But it's like there's really people out there that be like feeling like that. Just like,
it's like,
how are they not fucking with me?
It's the selfish like entitlement, bro. It's like because you think this is just supposed to serve you and it's not something to get better at and hone, like you feel that way. But if you knew it was a process, you'd be like, I'm at this stage of it now.
Yeah.
And if you
take
cared
it and
enough
grow
to,
from it.
yeah, like if you really want that praise, like you would like there to be a reason, no? Like,
yeah.
So
And it's almost like the people that have that dedication to the craft, it's like they see that as like I need to work on that internally. It's not like they need to work on liking me. It's like I need to work on getting better.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. No, I think that's a big part of it. It's like you got to have a little bit of like humility. I guess,
that's it. 100%.
to know that like it's not like you can do wrong, you can improve, and you can make some adjustments to get to where you want to go. It's not supposed to be just given to you. And if something gets in your way, it's the problem. Like, no, like it's testing you. Yeah. Sometimes. So
for sure, man. It's almost like taking that self-serving mindset totally out of it, where it's just like realistically, like you're here to like provide a great like show, you know, and it's like you're here to provide entertainment and like have like energy and have people like feel emotion and stuff like that. Like that's what it
when someone buys a ticket to a show, they're like, I want to see a great show, I want to hear these songs, I want to see somebody have a great performance. Like respectfully, I don't think anybody's gonna be like, well, maybe like a handful here and there. I don't think anyone's gonna be like, oh yeah, he just deserves this $50.
No.
He should have my money. He just should. Like, no, there's like they want something.
Not. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
they need something from you. It's got to feel worth their while. And if it's not worth your time, why would it be worth theirs?
That's damn.
So
mic drop, dude.
If it's not worth your time to get better at it, don't expect people to want to buy a ticket.
Yeah, man. So it's not going to be worth their time. Like 100%, dude. Damn. Yeah, man. And fuck, this is crazy. Yo, this is awesome. This is so good. So I want to talk about something. Do you smoke?
Nah, I still do edibles.
Okay.
Here and there. But that was one of the taking it seriously things that I talked about. So I have asthma. It's not as bad now, but like as a kid, like I had the breathing machine, mask. Still could use an inhaler here and there, you know, just as needed. Mm-hmm. But like of course, it's a breathing thing. So it affects all of this. Allergies fuck me up every time they roll around. Dry throat, itchy, like all of it. It's bad. Yeah. So with all of those things in mind already, it's like there's plenty of things I have to be mindful of if I want to sing properly. It can't be too cold outside. Got to scarf up. I got to drink plenty of water. Always keep this shit on me.
Yeah.
So it's like, it got to a point where it's like, yeah, I would smoke with the guys or whatever. And even then, it's like, I didn't even start smoking until I turned 21. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it wasn't even like a regular in my life until I got to it. And I was like, okay, I see the appeal. Like, I can get high with the boys every now and then. I can do that for sure. But then like, when it came down to show days, if I were to smoke like in the earlier stages before the show, I can't hit certain notes. Right. Everything's dry and scratchy. It sounds bad. And it's like, I'll be damned if I fucking embarrass myself.
Just because I wanted to get high.
Yeah, like a person in the crowd's not going to know, oh, he smoked before. That's why he sounds like that. He can really sing. A person seeing me for the first time is just going to hear, like, they're just going to hear a nigga that can't sing. Yeah, like, no, he's trash. I'm not going to get it. That's just what it is. And like, and if I want to say I take it seriously, but I can't not smoke to like drastically change my life and the life of everybody around me. It's like, yeah, we would have blown up back in the day, but I just needed another hit. Like, nah, bro. Like, I would hate that.
Dude.
I would hate that feeling. So it's like, I mean, I could still like, if I need to relax, unwind, go to sleep, give me an edible, give me a little gummy, do whatever. Yeah. But it's like, and on top of like wanting to prove it to myself that it's not absolutely necessary, that it's something that I can go without, I was like, I got to give it up.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the year, I was done.
So at the beginning of 2024?
Yeah, beginning of 2024. I was like, no more smoking, man.
Nice.
No. Disgusting.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm judging you if you're smoking cigarettes still
hard.
in 2024.
I'm judging you hard. I walk by you and I smell stale cigarettes on your t-shirt, bro. I'm disgusted with you. Just know I'm looking at you crazy as fuck. I don't care who you are.
And I wanted to bring that up because that's something that I think a lot of people overlook. The fact that smoking affects your singing. And it's
more shit than I thought, bro. I can't
even
drink juice before we sing because the sugar coats my fucking vocal cords and it fucks it up too.
Wow.
There's like a whole system to be mindful of. And I was like, okay, I didn't know I had to make these many changes, but it's like, I see it as if I want my life to change, I have to change something.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. That's
like,
why I even asked, because it's just like I wanted to know, because you have a really good voice, dude, and it's like it's awesome. Like I was listening to a bunch of your songs today, just like in preparation for the interview, and I'm just like, this dude can fucking sing. So I'm like, much love. Thinking like if he's smoking, like what is he doing to maintain that? But it's just like you're not smoking, and that's how you're maintaining and like making sure you're performing at your peak level. And that's again dedication to the craft.
There it is again.
I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah, no, seriously. And even like, I just don't think it's something that I can cheat.
Yeah.
Like if I respect this craft enough, it's like, okay, what means more to you?
That's right.
What means more to you? Like, was it worth it to just wake and bake, get high on the couch, and now you can't sing the same way when you're 40? Or just making the decision at 24 to be like, I'm good. Yeah. I'm good. And it sucks, don't get me wrong. Like there's the temptation. We've all got temptations that we have to deal with, but it's like, it's okay. I just keep telling myself it's for the greater good.
Yeah.
That's really it. And just deal with it as it goes. It's like, it's whatever. There's a couple times I'm like, I could. It's not one moment that stops it. Like, it's just like I've constantly had to be like, I could. No, keep it going. Keep it going. And then you do that all day for a day. It's like, okay, I made it through the day.
Right.
Made it through the week. Oh shit, that's 3 months.
Just making conscious little decisions over time. You like, and accidentally end up going sober.
Yeah. And it's like, it got to the point where it's like, it stopped being a habit.
Right.
So it's like, I straight up don't need it right now. I don't want it as bad.
Yeah.
And you know, who would have thought? but
that's it though. I mean, sometimes you have to make those hard decisions and choose, like you said, like what's more important, getting high with the boys or becoming a successful musician.
Yeah. When I can get drunk with the boys.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, y'all go ahead and smoke outside. I'll be right here.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing is like, yeah, I'll take a tequila, whatever the fuck. So it's like,
right. It's not like you can't relax and still hang out.
Yeah, I can find other
like
ways.
When it comes to like your vocal cords, you can't smoke all the time because you just will be a worse singer.
Yeah, I just know that like that would not be worth the result.
Yeah,
and it's like kind of more on like the like less serious version of it. It's like, man, you can try to justify it in like your head over. It's like, oh, I had a stressful day. I'm gonna do it this time. But it's like, but I saw it as like, if you can justify it now, you're going to find a way to justify it whenever you want to justify it. So it's like, instead of trying to give yourself that easy way out, it's like, no, dude, no. You just don't need it. That's it. There's no but. Don't add just this one. Like, no. You don't. I don't care if you got to walk all the way out of the fucking room. Just don't.
Yeah.
So like I ended up doing that. And it's like, but today was so stressful. It's like, bro, you know who had a fucking stressful ass day? Like, people getting fucking bombed left and right. People doing this and that. That guy probably needs to fucking smoke.
Yeah.
Like it's like, bro, it's like yeah. It's like, and they're getting like people are having harder situations in life than me, going through tougher times than me, whether I know the details or not, and they're doing it with less.
Yeah.
And it's like, if people can go through a harder time than me and show more mental strength, it's like, then like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like what is, like in the grand scheme of things, like I will face harder challenges in life.
Yeah.
And if this fucking joint is stopping me from getting what I want, the harder challenge is gonna obliterate me. I don't stand a fucking chance.
Right.
Like
man.
if the thing stopping me from what I want is this joint here, and I can't get past that, then I don't deserve what I swear is waiting for me beyond this.
Damn.
So it's like, okay.
Dang, dude. Yo, that's so fucking real, bro. It's like you have to be 100% too. Like I read a lot of books and like listened to a lot of audiobooks, and there's this one part of, I forgot which book, but it talks about how for instance, like taking yourself out of like the identity of certain habits. So it's talking about like, for instance, it brings up the example of drinking, or I think it's smoking cigarettes. That's the example. So talks about like the difference between someone that's for instance, if you stop smoking cigarettes and your friend still smokes and they offer you a cigarette and you say, no thanks, I'm trying to quit. Or you say, no thanks, I'm not a smoker. those are two totally different mindsets.
Yeah.
Where it's just like the first one being I'm trying to quit, so I still identify as a smoker that does not want to smoke because I want that to like not be a part of my life, and I'm trying, versus I'm not a smoker. Definitive.
I feel like this is a two-parter.
Let's hear it.
So in some ways, it's on you to just stand 10 toes on what you said.
Right.
But also, you just got to have some better fucking friends. Simple as that, bro. I see it as,
for sure.
I see it as like, if you are a close enough friend with me to where I'm in a room where I could potentially smoke with you, we're cool like that. And if I say no for whatever reason, that's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough. And if you respect me enough as a person to call me a friend, that should be it. There shouldn't be like, oh, come on, just do it. Like, no. Like, know that there's a reason that I said no, and you shouldn't try to pressure me on that, and that shouldn't hurt our relationship at all.
Right.
You shouldn't feel some type of way because I decided not to smoke with you. It's my personal choice.
Right.
And it's like, if the friendship is built on just you guys sitting there and smoking, like, how good of friends are you really?
Mm-hmm. That's such a good point.
Like, if that's what you need, then like, yeah, it's like if someone's gonna put you in that tough position deliberately, they're not your friend.
Yeah.
Not fully, not how they should be. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
But like even
such a good point.
And vice versa, I use my friends as a resource to hold me accountable. I told everybody what my plan was. I was like, I want to take my singing and my career seriously. I'm gonna stop this. I'm not smoking anymore. So if you see me smoking, or if you see me kind of like giving into that shit, hold me accountable. Be like, hey man, I thought you said you were gonna stop. And like, it makes it more real for me.
Yeah.
Cause like you can wake up in any day and be like, I'm gonna stop doing this now. But if like no one else knows that you made that decision, no one's gonna, not saying it's on them either, but like it'll be easier for them to enable you.
Yeah. It'd be easier for you to renege on your conversation.
Yeah. And you kind of know that. That's why you kind of keep it to yourself. Because like if I don't say it out loud, I don't know how to really, really commit. Like it's easier to make an excuse if you don't really like.
That's it.
Yeah. So it's like, I meant it when I said I wanted to stop it because I wanted to move on to the next phase of my life. So it's like, okay, do everything possible then to make sure that it stays on the back end.
Yeah.
And part of that was telling my friends and being trustworthy with the people around me.
Yeah.
Like even now, like I respect it. Like I used to smoke with my roommates every day after work. They still smoke. They go out to the backyard. They're like, hey man, we're gonna smoke. Do you want to? I'm like, nah, I'm still good. Thank you. I appreciate you asking me. That's it. Doesn't come up again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whether it's like, I just said it that way and they just respected it. And I'm gracious enough to have good friends. And my friends on the band standpoint agree. It's like, hell yeah, bro. I'm not.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I don't want my career to end. I don't want to stop playing bass for Prime because this nigga can't sing anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're like, hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
good fucking choice. Yeah. So
for sure.
it was easy on that front. So thankfully I've just had people who understand.
For sure. And it's almost like not only like to your point about like the peer pressure thing, when people are like, when they offer you, but then like you say no, but then they offer you again later or something like that. It's like, no, I already told you, bro.
No, thankfully I haven't had that situation.
Exactly.
Like, no, dude, I told you no.
Exactly. And it's like on the other side of that too, where it's like you going into it very definitive about like, I'm not a smoker anymore. I don't identify as a smoker anymore. So that's like your stance, where it's just like, if you were like in the mindset of like, I'm trying to quit, it's almost like you're standing on the fence. Whereas like you can still jump right back over and smoke, and it's so much easier.
And the person that asks knows that.
Yeah.
Like that's why like it adds the enabling for you to not pick a side.
Yeah.
So like if I was like, no thanks, I'm kind of trying to give it up.
Right.
They would be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll ask him later in the party.
Yeah, and then he'll probably like maybe
like,
a few drinks in, maybe he'll do it or whatever.
Why not? I can't. Like it's just one time. Like it makes it easier to do that kind of shit.
Right. But because you're so definitive, they see that and they don't even ask you again.
Yeah.
And that's like it's two ways, where it's like not only do you have like good people around you that are not enablers, but they also like you having that definitive mindset of like, I'm not letting myself slip. That's the biggest like governor in your brain, you know, where it's just like you're the only one that can give up on something like realistically. Like you make your own fucking decision. So it's like someone's not putting a gun to your face. You know what I'm saying? They're not putting the joint up to you and making you inhale. So it's just like you have to be the one to decide, I'm not a smoker anymore. And then like from that point, then you have all the power. And so
yeah,
man.
I think it's that simple. Because there were a couple times when I tried to compromise, and I can tell that was not the move. I was like, oh, I can smoke before this one. It's just an hour.
Right.
And then like the third song, I'm like, fuck, why'd I do that?
Yeah, exactly. And you have those moments where it's like, yep, this is exactly why I don't do this shit.
No, seriously, I had it like 2 or 3 times. I'm like, and that's what you fucking get. You knew better.
Yeah.
And now look.
Yeah.
Can't be mad at nobody but yourself. So I was like, yeah. And granted, like people are going to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
But it's also like, if you're doing everything that you can, you don't have to account for that as much.
Yeah.
So it helps to approach it a certain way.
I'm so glad I brought that up because this was like, I thought about it. I was like, I mean, everybody smokes, but like this dude sounds really fucking good. So if he's smoking,
especially now, like it's becoming like such a common thing. I can get it delivered to my fucking house.
Literally.
Like,
yeah.
Before, like there was plenty of times like it would get offered to me a lot when it wasn't even legal.
Right.
And I was like, nah. And then when I finally had the chance, I was like, I'm kind of missing out. But I was like, I get it. I get what y'all are doing, bro. Shit. But yeah, it's like just in the grand scheme of things, it's not worth it for me to maintain
long term.
Like, it conflicts with too much that I want.
Right.
So
yeah, man,
that's just one thing I had to cut out.
For sure, man. Dedication to the craft.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I don't smoke, but that last album got me a fucking boat.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's
dude.
fine. That's fine by me. If that's the sacrifice that has to be made, then so be it.
Yeah,
and it's an expensive habit. I'm not quite rich yet.
Yeah, that's so true. Dude.
So it was like, damn, I can put 50 in my gas tank, or I can smoke it away and still have to put 50 in the gas tank. So it's like,
fuck, dude.
Yeah, man. It's like, I'd rather not.
So true.
It got to a point where it's like, not only was it just a smart choice, it's like, you kind of can't afford to keep doing that, bro.
Yeah.
Literally or figuratively.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
Yeah. There's a few reasons that like I'm grateful it's been such an easy transition.
Good, man. So on the other side of that too, how do you maintain your voice? Do you do warm-ups? Do you do routines every day to kind of keep yourself?
Unfortunately, not as often as I should. My vocal coach, Michaela, I haven't been able to meet with her this month.
Okay. But you have before, a vocal coach.
Like, yeah, like I have a vocal coach that I claim, and she's made it like tailored to me. I have like a 30-minute warm-up that I do before performances and before practices.
Nice.
So like, and they're just regular like strength exercises. So like that's helped. And that is the only reason that I'm still able to sing as well as I could have. Because if I was still at the same level that I was 2 or 3 years ago, my voice wouldn't be as strong. It wouldn't sound, it just wouldn't be as good.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't be as good. So I'm definitely grateful that I've taken the leap and taken it more seriously like I should. And it was always something that I wanted to do.
Right.
But it was just one of those expenses where it was a matter of choosing. It's like, okay, water bill or vocal lessons.
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
It's like,
yeah,
I know what I need. I need to shower more than I need to do the Zoom call this week. So it's like,
yeah,
that's just what it is. But that's definitely something that I fully intend to keep maintaining and do a lot better, because more and more will be required of me the further we go.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to be like, oh, sorry, I can't perform tonight in front of like 10,000 people or 60,000 people or whatever, because I haven't been maintaining my voice the same. So it's like, it's baby steps. And it's like, I haven't been as strong in the discipline as I would like to be, but there's definitely a process in place that has helped me a lot lately.
I mean, once you're playing those 10,000, 60,000 people though, it's just like, you're going to have vocal coach on payroll,
on deck.
you know? So it's like,
they're already going to be there.
Yeah. Like but the fact that you're already, before you're at that point, taking the initiative to find a vocal coach, work with a vocal coach, take these lessons and implement them into daily practices or whatever that is.
That was part of the shit that made it feel destined, actually, because like I was just writing a few songs on like guitar, like a few chords here and there, and I was showing Jay, our bass player, at his apartment. So I was just like going through like the rough drafts of the song, and we had the window open, and the vocal coach, her name is Michaela, so like she heard us, like she heard me singing the songs from like 2 levels down at his apartment complex he lived at the time.
Oh, wow.
And that was how we ended up like connecting. She was like, oh, you sound pretty good. Do you have a vocal coach, blah, blah, blah. And then I ended up pursuing it from that. So like that was like a blessing that fell in my lap, so to speak. And it was something, if it wasn't going to be her, I would have had to find somebody, because like I knew it was going to be necessary. It's like, I'm not the best singer in the world. I'm not like, I can learn something, I can grow, and I want to do that. I can't be at my best if I'm sitting here thinking like, oh, this should be better than it is. So that was one of those things that I had to buckle down and get rolling.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and I mean, the fact that it fell into your lap too, that's destiny. Just like for sure, because that's I think such an important part that people don't even realize sometimes, that these artists that are mainstream, they all have vocal coaches. Like there's days where these guys are performing for arenas where they're on vocal rest where they can't even talk.
Oh yeah, no, like that's the thing she said to me is like I had to cut out like the sugars, like cut out the smoking. That was a conversation I had with her. That was what made it really real. Like, okay, it was like she knows more than me. I gotta take it seriously.
Huge.
That even like soda and shit done because like carbonation, bubbling, it fucks up my breathing. I literally had to change the way that I breathe.
Wow.
So it was like it was a lifestyle change. It really was. I had to just make some mature choices and end up switching up the way I did everything.
Yeah.
So it's like use more of my diaphragm when I breathe so I can get the most out of every note, get the stronger delivery, still like strengthening my vocal cords here and there. On top of the fact that like I kind of I'm younger than everybody in the group. So it's like turning 25 brings a new, all that shit. So it's something like that I'm constantly mindful of every day. It's like, oh, I got a show this week. How are my vocal cords feeling? Should I drink this tea today? Should I drink this tea this week? Like,
yeah, but
it's a constant round the clock.
You're like mindful of it though. So like you're thinking about it consciously where it's just like, rather than just like putting it off until the day of the show. And it's like, how do I feel today? It's just like,
no, because like that's going to screw me. Because if I wake up and it's off, it's like, well, fuck. What? I can't just chug a hot tea immediately. Like, no. Like,
it's not going to work. Yeah. It's like if you don't put in like the reps over time, like you're going to, for sure, man. And I think that's another one of those things, like a discipline thing that you really had to hone in on. So I'm glad that you have those in place. And it makes sense, dude. It's like, like you can like hear a trained vocalist sound and like someone that actually puts that sound in, like, and this is what I'm talking about. Like when I hear your shit and it sounds so great, it's like I can, like someone that doesn't put in time and doesn't practice as like as well as they should or as often as they should and doesn't take notes and like doesn't change their lifestyle to like make sure they are the best of their abilities. You can hear it.
Yeah,
you can hear it.
It's a motivator too, because like I said, I'm not the best singer in the world. Like at any given time, I can get off that stage and meet somebody who's really like that, like an opera trained vocalist, another vocal coach, or somebody more famous than me that sings. You never know. They'll be like, it was kind of like, no, like I don't want to do that. I want to impress people is what I can do.
You're running in the same circles as those people.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to be in the same, like I'm trying to be in the same rooms as you guys. I'm trying to be on the level of you guys. So if it's constructive, like whatever needs to be done needs to be improved upon. And like I said, like I'm still at the level that I'm at now. And like I'm humble enough to fully admit that I know I can get better.
Yeah.
I know I can get way better singing. And I know that there's another tier of vocalists to get to. Like there's some names where like, oh, great singer that, you know, just think of. You like the Whitney Houstons and Mariah Careys of the world and that type of shit. Michael Jackson. Like,
yeah, for sure.
So there's a lifetime of work that you have to invest to get into that. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess Thriller wouldn't have been as good if Michael Jackson decided to keep smoking. Like, you know,
totally.
Like, you know, whatever it might
100%,
be. 100%, so like,
dude. I mean, like,
if I want to be up there, it's like back to the dedication is what it takes.
Dude, for sure. And it's like, the first person that came to my mind when you were saying all this, I was like, Usher, dude. Yeah. Like Usher would not be the vocalist that he is today if he smoked every day.
No, definitely not. Like, bro, when I'm gonna keep it 100, bro. I was sitting at home watching the fucking Super Bowl, and like I'm watching it as like a performer from a music standpoint, and like someone who's just a fan of Usher and R&B music in the first place. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, you couldn't sing like that on skates, nigga. It's like, you couldn't do that shit. Can you hit those notes and sing just like that? Can you do all that running around? Can you spin in circles, all these dance moves and shit and still sing like that? No. There's more work to do.
That's it. It's like, that's the example right there.
No, that's like, so it's like, you're not Usher, nigga.
Yeah, you jump on some skates bro. And fucking sing your song,
yeah,
bro.
Like the day that you can wake up and go out sing Usher or do some shit like that, that's the day that you can stop working. And even then keep working because you're not gonna be able to do it tomorrow.
Yeah. So, and it's like, and Usher's gonna be
Usher's gonna keep working and Usher's gonna be ahead of you again. And it's like you never fucking did it. So that's
I mean, it's one thing to like see that and like get encouraged by it, and it's another thing to like see it and be like, well, I'll never be there.
Or get discouraged.
Yeah, so it's just like shit. Just like, well, I might as well give up now. I'll never be able to do that. Just like, no, just like I can be there too, is if I just keep going.
Yeah. And it's also like it's a back and forth that I go over with myself too, because it's like, you're not gonna be Usher. It's like, I don't want to be Usher.
Right.
I want to be Shaheem of Prime Society. So it's like, no, I might not be Usher, but the level I get to, if it's not surpassing him, it's gonna be goddamn close.
Right.
And it's going to be so good with what I've made it for myself that like, hopefully I'll still be in the conversation.
Right.
Hopefully like years down the road, decades down the road, like that work will have proven enough for itself. Like I won't have to get on a mic and be like, by the way, I'm doing vocal coaching. Like you'll hear me sing and you'll be like, you're not singing like Shy, nigga. That's
exactly.
when it comes full circle.
Yeah.
Then I'll feel like the work is done and I'm gonna still keep going until I can't do anything.
Yeah, man. So. Dude, I love that. Man, so there's only a few more things that I have on here. And I guess I wanted to touch on a couple like pretty big performances that you have, and we don't have to like go super deep into them. But you've had some pretty big performances.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys played Burning Man, right?
Yeah.
And you guys
one of the
played
favorites.
At the Suns game in the arena.
The halftime playoffs. Hopefully, like we'd love to do that again.
Yeah.
I've done a Phoenix Mercury national anthem. I would love to do that again.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, for either team.
Yeah.
Not doing it for the Coyotes no more. GG.
Yeah, right.
Fuck. So
good riddance, man. So
you need to get me a jersey though. I've wanted one of those classic jerseys my whole life. I was like, I don't give a damn about hockey. I love the jerseys though.
Yeah, that's sick ass logo, dude.
It's gonna be more expensive now because they're fucking gone. But
now they're retro. Now they're gonna be vintage.
Throwbacks. Yeah, man. Sorry.
But I just wanted to kind of talk about like those types of like big stages and like did you guys like go into those? Was there like high pressure situations, or did you feel super comfortable? And like, did you guys get a lot of, I guess, return on investment of time as far as like listens and follows and just fans, realistically?
Absolutely. I feel like at this stage right now, anytime we perform is a new opportunity for that, even if it's one person.
Nice.
That's one person who's going to show 10 people your song and then so on and so forth. So like it doesn't matter if we're on like we've literally performed on stages made of like plywood, bro, like the damn, like the pallets.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Like 3 stacks of pallets, like 3x4 type shit. Like we performed on everything, bro. We performed on fucking cardboard boxes. Like, so it's like, that doesn't change the energy. Like we want to get to like bigger stages and everything, of course, but it shouldn't change your approach. Like it shouldn't be, oh, this song sounds way better like on this stage, like, you know, save for sound equipment or whatever, of course.
Right.
But like you should bring the same level of passion and intensity performing in front of 10 as you are performing in front of 10,000. That's how I feel. And when you're on a bigger stage like that, it makes me want to live up to the moment, rise to the occasion, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So if I'm on a big stage like that, I'm not just gonna be like, la, la, la. Like, no, I'm not gonna stand there and be all timid. Like, no, you got all this room to work with, bro. Like they gave you a big ass stage.
Yep.
What are you gonna do with it? You better do something.
Yeah.
you better do something to make the people watching be like, I see why they put you on the stage.
Yeah.
I see you've been doing a lot to get to this stage. Like, this isn't your first show.
Right.
like that kind of thing. Like it makes me want to perform at a level to where my presence on that stage is not questioned.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Every time.
For sure, man.
Every time. And if it's on a small stage, they should be thinking, damn, that nigga stage got to be bigger. And if it's on a big stage, he's supposed to be on this stage.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's it. So it's just a matter of like what we can do. And whenever we have like, funny enough, like technical difficulties or something like that, or the venue's bad, whatever it is, if I feel like it doesn't meet our standard, it takes all the pressure of the performance away. It's like, all right, y'all trying to hoe us with this, watch me rip this shit still. Mm-hmm. So it works for me wherever we're at, dude. And I'm definitely grateful to get new stages all the time, because whenever we get a new venue, granted, as soon as we perform at that new venue, we meet a new person who happens to like run shows at this place or this side of town, who owns 3 or 4 bars, who owns this musical venue or whatever. Like you never know. Like the opportunity just keep rolling. That's why like we don't take any opportunity we have for granted, because it took so much for us to get one. Yeah. But right when we got one, we got another one. We got another one. Stuck with the dedication. Took shows that we might not have wanted, might have cost us money, but we made the sacrifice to get something out of it. Might not have gotten paid, but we got this exposure here and there. And I fucking hate that word. But I'll pay you an exposure, bro. It's like, bro, do you think I'm going to call my landlord and be like, I got 50 exposures? It's like, no, fuck out of here with that shit, bro. It's like, no. Would you get paid for your daily job and exposure? No. Get the fuck out of here. Would you pay Drake an exposure? No. Stop. Like, bro, come on. Get the
straight up.
Like, so
straight up.
That kind of thing is like, it sucks. And like, there's definitely a time and place for it. And of course, like if you could get paid 10 bands a show, who wouldn't want that? But it's a matter of earning it. You know, it's like it's a process. You got to trust the process, and
for sure.
Next thing you know, you getting paid $1,000 for 30 minutes. You getting paid $2,000 for 2 hours or whatever. Like, and it's Like we get new random opportunities all the time. We've got like booking agencies and stuff, gratefully. So like it's easier to keep performing because we're actually getting paid for these shows.
Yeah.
It takes money to make money. So
yeah. And you're crushing the shows too, where it's just like, if you went into it with the mindset of like, oh, this is a small stage, we're going to play it like a small stage, you probably wouldn't get booked for the big stage.
People wouldn't think twice. Yeah, no, people wouldn't think twice about you. But like, no, that's literally what it is. Like we've had shows where we were performing at a park, right? They will sit us. It's like it's big open field. They got this whole event going on, all these vendors, whatever it may be. They will sit us at like a makeshift like Sam's Club ass tent.
Yeah.
And like force us to plug up using an extension cord and like a swamp generator type shit and perform there for an hour and a half while we're staring at a fucking stage, like a big like professional stage, like 100 feet away from us, right across from us.
That's crazy.
And it's like, why couldn't we perform on that? They'll make us perform outside around the corner type shit when there's a stage built into the bar indoors. I'm like, what's...
Yeah.
So it's...
But you still crush it.
Yeah.
It's like you hit that stage and like you still get fans. And you still get like, people stopping and like listening. Like, what the fuck?
It puts a chip on your shoulder. At least it does it for me. It's like, okay, they don't know who they fucking with.
Yeah.
Like they think we're not worth the attention. Well, watch this shit.
It's like, are you trying to little bro me? Watch
yeah, bro. It's like, okay. It's like if I sing my best, if we do what we practice, what we know how to do, people go notice.
For sure.
People go notice. And they do notice. It adds a lot of validation for us. It feels very nice to kill a set for however long we do it and have people give us props or gain fans.
From both sides too. And I like the way that you said where it's just like when you do a show and you can meet some people like promoters or other people that are booking shows, basically like both sides of the industry, the consumer side and the business side. When you're doing shows and you crush them, you get like pluses basically on both sides. Mm-hmm. If you go into a show with like low energy, don't do very well, probably not going to get booked again. You're probably not going to get any fans. Yeah. So it's just like if you go in best of your ability, highest possible like product, I guess. If you're going into it with that mindset, you're going to get booked again. Not only at that venue, you're probably going to get connected, shown to anybody else, like other industry friends, and then getting fans too. So it's just like...
And if you keep proving yourself, like which like gratefully we have done, it's like you end up being a lock at a lot of places.
That's
like,
it.
Whenever somebody needs live music,
they know exactly who to call,
And it's like, and if people can think of you that way, like then like we see it as we're one step closer to being like that group that we want to be, to where we can just create full time.
Yeah.
This is what we want to do. This is what I want to do with my life. This feels like the purpose that drives me. So if other people see that as well and want to help me do that, hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
And if anybody's listening that's an artist, listen to this guy. He's giving the sauce right now, man. Straight up. It's like if you want to get booked on big shows, if you want to grow your career, if you want to be in a position to have people see you on the stage at fucking Burning Man, like the stage at Phoenix Suns arena that's sold out, 17,000 plus people in that arena. Like that is something that can happen for anybody. You just have to like want it and put in the work and have that dedication to the craft, because it's just like, if you don't, it's going to be so hard to get that opportunity in the first place. So it's like, you have to put in the groundwork and you have to show up realistically. That's what it is.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And like it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done. It's
Absolutely.
Easier said than done.
Absolutely.
Holy shit, it's easier said than done. Because I can't tell you, like,
can't stress that
there've been so many show days where I'm like, can we call it off? Like, can we
It'd be
skip
so
it?
easy.
It'd be so easy. But like then you're gonna be mad that you got to go do something else to pay your bills. Like you want to call out of work.
Right.
You want to do so it's like, be grateful that you get to do this. You know, it's like,
that's it.
There's some people who couldn't pick up an instrument if they wanted to. There's some people who can't sing the way that like you've been blessed to, whether it took practice or whatever. So it's like you're doing yourself a disservice by not seeing how well it can thrive, and you're disrespecting the people who don't have that opportunity.
For sure. That's a good way to put it.
So you owe it to yourself and to others to see how beautifully that can turn out. Yeah,
and I like what you said there, where it's almost like you get to do it versus you have to do it. Mm-hmm. Where it's just like, if it feels like it's a chore, then you're already losing.
Yeah, that's not what you're passionate about. If it feels like if you're being forced to do it, if it feels like an obligation and not something that you're grateful for, then it's maybe not for you, or maybe you got to like switch genres up. I don't know, bro.
Yeah,
but exactly. like if you feel that way about it, it's probably not the best move.
Yeah, man.
But, man, I couldn't imagine feeling that way about music and art, though. You're fucking crazy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like find a different craft if that's not like where you're at. So as we start to close out here, let's give a little bit of an update here on stuff coming up. I know you guys have a show tomorrow. At 4:20 is tomorrow. Recording this on 4:19, but
and I will not be smoking.
Yes, right. Speaking of smoking, but you guys won't see this before then. But just know that it happened by the time this comes out. But I just want to bring attention to it because they're out here doing stuff, man. So.
Always, man. Blessed to say that we're booked and busy for sure. But yeah, we are doing the Arizona Fry Fest tomorrow. It's like
that's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's tomorrow. It's just a bunch of like different vendors with different types of fries and shit. I hope to God they got chili cheese fries because when we did the Foodie Land Fest, like you would think no one had chili cheese fries.
That's
we
like
walked around the whole bitch.
Fry.
The Phoenix version and the Vegas version. There was no like
what?
Nothing.
Easy.
So better be some damn chili cheese fries there, bro. But yeah, we're gonna be at Margaret T. Hance Park in Goodyear tomorrow. Nice. And we go from like 1 to 3, like 1:15 to 3, some shit like that.
Okay, very nice.
So
do you guys have other shows coming up as well? Past that?
Coming up, I think we've got a few shows coming up in May. We'll be at Wilderness at the end of the month.
Okay. That's AZ Wilderness?
AZ Wilderness downtown.
Yeah.
We'll probably be doing Lucky's a few more times. I don't have a set date for that yet, but we got a lot of stuff coming. I think we have like 3 or 4 more shows we're going to do in May, but they're like tentative.
Okay.
But we'll do something. We'll do something for sure.
Any songs other than that one that you said is going to be dropping next month?
I don't want to name drop it just yet.
Okay.
But I want to get the official confirmation, but we got another single coming in May for sure. We got another single coming this month. So in the meantime, run up the streams on Coffin, keep showing that some love, and everything else we got too. But we got another one on the way for sure. We've already got 2 options lined up for what we want to do, but it's on the way. It's on the way,
man. Good.
Like I said, it's gonna get rolling for sure. Once we got one, it kind of opened the floodgates. We're gonna get more
for sure. And it's Prime SOC on Instagram.
Oh yeah,
right? Okay.
Prime SOC.
Prime SOC.
PRIME SOC. All one word.
Yes.
You can find us anywhere: Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, YouTube. Prime Society.
Yes, look them up. They're out here making a lot of waves. And then Shy, do you want to plug your personal Insta as well?
Oh hell yeah, sure. If you follow the Prime page, PRIME SOC, all of our like band members' names are in the bio.
Perfect.
But you can follow me at shy.heim _ SHY period HEIM _ That's me.
Perfect. I'll put it right here. Right on the screen.
Yes.
Perfect.
So yeah, absolutely. Show me some love. I don't post as often as I'd like. The social media is like one of my like, it's not necessarily my thing, but you know, being a frontman and everything is something that that it has to be.
Yeah.
So, but I'm still pretty active on there. Show some love. I'll show some love right back.
Absolutely.
I post a lot of other art too. So hey, you know.
Yeah. Look at his illustrations and just keep up on Prime Society, man. See what they got dropping. See what they got coming up. So sometimes when I have musicians on, I do this thing where we sing a little bit. Would you be down?
What are we singing? what do we got?
On the last night. Do we have time?
I'll be the boyfriend in your wet dreams tonight. Knows it's all unreal. Little virgin wears the white. You cut your hair, but you used to live a blinded life. Wish I was there, wish we'd grown up on the same advice, and our time was right. Keep a place for me, yeah. I sleep between y'all, it's nothing. It's nothing, it's nothing. Keep a place for me, yeah, for me. Now and then you miss it, sounds make you cry. Some nights you dance with tears in your eyes. I came to visit, 'Cause you see me like a UFO. That's like never. 'Cause I made you use your self-control, and you made me lose my self-control, my self-control. It's nothing, no, it's nothing, yeah. I sleep between y'all, it's nothing. Keep a place for me, yeah. It's nothing, yeah. I sleep between y'all, it's nothing, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that sounds awesome.
That's warm-up list.
Yo.
But sorry if I couldn't do Frank justice there, but that's it. That's it. Once again, we got Coffin by Prime Society on the Harry on Mars podcast. Is that the name?
On Mars Pod with Harry Mars. It's all good.
With Harry Mars. That's what I get for reading the Instagram handle.
Hit it. I think way too often about all the wrong shit. He's got me halfway in my coffin. He's got me halfway in my coffin. And I'm lost in whatever they want, whatever she on, the hell am I on? Whatever we done, drink is too strong, thinking too long, oh. Said I've been thinking way too long. And I've been doing it wrong. Said I've been doing it wrong. I've been thinking too long, way too long, way too long. Been thinking too long. I'm thinking about who is and who ain't coming round. I'm thinking about all my day ones, hope they know I'm still down. I'm thinking about this life and is it ever slowing down? I can't think about it now. No, don't think about it now. 'Cause I've been doing it wrong. Said I've been doing it wrong. I've been thinking too long, way too long, way too long. I've been thinking too long, oh, yeah, yeah.
That's Coffin, ladies and gentlemen. Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, all that good stuff. Feel free to check it out. Show some love. Thank y'all.
Absolutely, dude. Wow. Yeah. Great work. Great work, man.
Thank you.
Yo, I'm so glad you were down to do that.
Might as well. I think that's another one of like my mental things. Granted, I'm not always going to be like, whenever somebody just walks up to me like, sing for us.
Right.
No. What the fuck? I'm not like,
it has to be the right
not the jukebox, you feel me? But
right.
I feel like there's also times where like, if you want to talk about how much you're a singer and shit, like you're going to get put on the spot. So
yeah. And it's in a situation like this, I felt like this was a right. You know,
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
so
I think that was reasonable. I think that was a good request. I'm not tripping off it.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate it because I was like,
yeah.
dude, because I love this song and I wanted to bring some attention to it, bring some ears to it in a new way too. Where it's like this is just hearing you on it straight up. Like this is not studio recording. This is live, straight raw. There's no auto tune on that, by the way, guys. Zero auto tune. So that was just straight, exactly how he sang it. Like that just shows you like the amount of control that he has. So. Please go listen to Prime Society. Go listen to Coffin. Go spin all their other tracks. They got a couple albums out.
Absolutely.
Follow them on Instagram. Check them out when they go live in Phoenix. If you live in Phoenix, definitely keep tabs on these guys because you're gonna miss out. If you guys wait 5 years, you're gonna be like, damn.
Oh yeah, bro.
Like,
no,
I used to
get
see
on the
those
bandwagon
guys.
before it gets full,
exactly.
man. Before you got to run behind that bitch. Come on.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, you know, check out a live show while we still local. You feel me? We branching out a little bit, but
yes,
we perform all the time, man. If you don't catch us this week, you don't catch us next week.
For
If
sure.
you don't catch us the week after that, you gonna catch us.
Yeah, and what's crazy is like you guys don't even know this, but like Jay Reed, he actually plays with other artists as well. And so it's just like you could not only see these guys playing as Prime Society, but like these guys are just musicians in the scene. So just get tapped in with these guys because they're definitely ones to watch. I will say that right off top.
Bro. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. So again, I appreciate your time, man.
Oh hell yeah! I'm glad I can make it work.
Absolutely.
Especially like with this being my first one. It's like I've been on pods with the guys before, but I'm glad we could come through and do like a one-on-one, man. That shit was solid.
Likewise, man. It's great to meet you, bro.
Absolutely.
I feel like we're
great
homies
first
now.
meeting, bro. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
But we'll have to do it again with the rest of the guys. But man.
Down.
Until next time, I appreciate you coming and appreciate you guys listening. My fellow Martians, please go follow Prime Society, follow Shy, all that stuff. We'll see you next time on Mars. Love you guys.
Peace.
Peace.
Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in and watching this episode of the On Mars Pod and for sticking around to the end, man. I really appreciate you guys. You are the real Martians. Like this video, comment below what your favorite part was, what was most inspiring to you. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications here on future interviews coming out soon, and also follow us on Instagram at On Mars Pod. Love you guys so much. We will see you next time on Mars.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Crispy.
Sounds like I'm gonna have a dip in my hair when we're done. It'll be all right.
Do you want to wear the headphones? You don't have to.
Oh, it's too late now. Already done it. I'm cool with it.
All right.